1 minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
They come from the edge. Barnes finds a seam. 30, 35, 40. Barnes down the right-hand sideline. Down to the 40. Down to the 30. They don't have an angle. Barnes will score. Hits a horn. Touchdown TCU. 75-yard touchdown run to open up the second half. And the Horned Frogs blow it open now 26-7 in this third quarter.
Thank you to Learfield for that call. Final score 48-14. Not the debut that I had envisioned for Bill Belichick in the North Carolina Tar Heels. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It's September, it's football season, and this is one Bill Belichick would probably want to forget.
And by the way, the score was not indicative of how close this was. It was 41-7, and TCU just quit.
Yeah.
They stopped trying. The whole thing was incredibly embarrassing for North Carolina and somewhat gratifying for the rest of us because I don't know. It's just like the Jordan Hudson of it all. I got to admit, I enjoyed watching him get whooped thoroughly. I'm just going to admit it.
There were a lot of people hate watching Belichick yesterday. And, you know, it's funny because Michael Jordan shows up and Lawrence Taylor. And you want to know why I thought that this was going to be a much better debut for Bill Belichick than it ended up being. And congrats to TCU. I mean, the winner. TCU was not going to go down last year or 2 years ago with Deion's debut, and then this time with Bill Belichick's debut. So good for TCU, and we can talk about them later. But the one thing I really thought Belichick was going to have an angle here is because of what Matt Patricia did with the Ohio State defense against Texas. And I was like, ipso facto, then Belichick's like the original. He's the OG. He's going to be able to transition to the college game, and it's going to be easy. And then he got out there, and he just does not have the X's and O's or the Jimmies and the Joes. They got nothing at North Carolina. So I feel a little silly today because I thought after that first drive, I was like, man, Belichick has this whole thing figured out. They marched down the field, touchdown. Like, man, this is just going to be easy pickings, and the rest of the NFL is going to have to answer for why Bill Belichick is not in the pros right now, and then it flipped very fast.
Well, what's the difference between what Matt Patricia's doing and what Bill Belichick's trying to do? Matt Patricia's at Ohio State, the Ohio State. He has Caleb Downs. North Carolina has a brand new team, and we don't even really know how good this team is. And Bill Belichick's never coached before at this level. I mean, Patricia did too, but he's got a lot of help around the staff. So we obviously, like other situations that we'll get into in a minute, we put way too many expectations on this program. Fair to say?
Okay, but 6 Super Bowls, I'm not going to feel bad about this. So we'll talk about Arch Manning and the expectations of Arch to not play well against Ohio State. But I do not feel bad about putting expectations on Bill Belichick.
Oh, come on. You have to feel a little silly now.
Well,
because it's a different sport.
They lost by 34.
It's a different sport. So I'm not even going to kill Belichick. It's his first college game. It's a brand new roster. I mean, obviously it's North Carolina football. It is a program that has been cursed for many years. He didn't come in and ruin Alabama or ruin Ohio State.
No,
he's
ruining on his way to ruining Alabama.
No, those jobs are taken. He's ruining a program that never really was anything. So I don't know. I just think looking back, I wish I'd come out earlier and said, oh, this is going to be a disaster. Which, by the way, I've already heard many people come out and say, oh, yeah, I knew it was going to be a disaster. But none of them actually said that on Friday. They all saying it now.
No, you called it when Belichick first got the job. You were like, it's still North Carolina.
Yeah.
It's still a basketball school and all of that. Can I tell you something about Belichick, though? Because you know how like life comes at you fast and we move very fast in this day and age. And he's got 6 Super Bowl rings. But if you go to Boston right now, or if you're in New England, they are basically writing him out of the will. I mean, it is a Tom Brady statue out front. The Crafts despise Belichick. Maybe put the kibosh on him getting the Falcons job. You know, there is serious animosity up until not even 2 weeks ago. Belichick's giving, throwing shade at the Crafts in a story in the Boston Globe. The Crafts did a whole documentary basically to say that Bill was a curmudgeon that we had overcome, calling him every name in the book. Now you got not just like the football last night was almost the cherry on top, all of the Jordan Hudson. And he's dating this woman who's 24, the same age as the backup quarterback who came in last night to try to save their bacon in Max Johnson. So the jokes write themselves. And if he can't win football games, Pearl, I'm not saying I'm worried about Belichick's legacy, but I kind of am because New England wants nothing to do with him. And that's where his, the mastery was really on display.
Oh, I hear you. I don't think that if he fails in college, that will totally decimate his pro legacy. I mean, listen, there have been a lot of coaches who've tried it in college and failed, and vice versa. A lot of college coaches who've tried it in the pros and failed. I think that it's known as a different sport. Also, this is like a late career, whatever. Like this is Michael Jordan and the Wizards to me. Like I'm not going to count. This is Emmitt Smith as a Cardinal, Joe Namath as a Ram. Joe Montana was actually good as a Chief, so that's not a good analogy. But this happens to a lot of greats, and it does happen to coaches as well. A lot of the greatest college football coaches have not been good in their final few years.
Okay. I see this differently than that.
Yeah.
I think that the way that Belichick ended in New England and the freeze out, right? The fact that a guy who won 6 Super Bowls could not get a job, he circled back on the New York Jets and they said, no chance. So, and, not trying to give the Jets a stray here, but like that's how bad it got. That even the Jets, who can't find a head coach to save their lives, said no thank you to Bill Belichick. The whole league said no thank you. So I don't think this is a Michael Jordan, the Wizards, like, just I can't stay retired. The itch to play is burning inside me. I think this job in North Carolina was everyone bleep off. I'm going to remind everybody what a great coach I am, and I'm going to either get back into the NFL off of this, or I'm going to show that, hey, I can be just as successful without Tom Brady as he was without me. I think there was more to it than that. I don't think this is like some sunset cruise here that he's taking into his retirement.
But I think you're underestimating how old he is. He's 73. Like most coaches are in the decline by then. Remember when Tony La Russa took over the White Sox again at 70, was he 75, 76? And everyone's like, wow, that's really interesting. He's going to give it a go. Like, that's really what this is. This is not, we shouldn't be viewing this as, that's why the NFL looked at his age. That was a pure age play. They were like, well, if he's good, how long is he going to be here? The dude's 73.
Pete Carroll got a job. He's coach of the Raiders.
And the odds are, even though you think they're going to be really good, and I think they'll be improved, the odds are that's not going to amount to anything, right? I mean, what are the odds? And I don't even think the Raiders are in. They just want to sort of correct their ship and get to medium. Right. Like, I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl. It's unlikely. Remember when Dick Vermeil took over the Rams? That's one. Dick Vermeil took over the Rams.
Yeah.
He was older. And I looked at his age the other day when he took over the Rams, and I was shocked. It was much younger than I thought. He was like 61 or something. So, I just think that you cannot underestimate his age and how this plays. Like, he's going to reinvent himself and learn a new sport. And on the fly, immediately for week 1 against a team with an experienced quarterback, I think we should have seen this coming.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. How shocked were you that Bill Belichick got boat raced in the opener? Every North Carolina luminary. I mean, you got Michael Jordan off the yacht for that.
That was the embarrassing part. The hype.
That's sports, though. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the parallels when Colorado debuted against TCU and all the star power was coming, they showed up the first couple weeks. Then it fell apart a little bit, but still, they delivered. And that's another reason you would have thought that Belichick was going to win, because Deion won in the same spot. But it wasn't meant to be. I can't believe it. So, Maggie, tell the people about the tweet.
Oh.
You mentioned it earlier, but.
Yeah. Well, we suck. I'm going to have to come clean on a few things on this Tuesday morning. This is just the latest one. You guys know I was obviously very high on Arch Manning. I was already talking about how he was going to be manipulating the top of the draft, and he was definitely coming out after this year and all that.
Yes, I think you were high, yes.
Yeah, I've got a few mea culpas. Couple.
Oh, that one is still happening at least.
Maybe. I think it could still be alive. But Belichick, after Gio Lopez, who ended up getting hurt in this game, but after they stormed down the field and scored in their opening drive, I said there's going to be a lot of NFL teams who have some explaining to do, why they didn't hire Bill Belichick. Then,
and by the way,
then things changed, and the Twitter handle Freezing Cold Takes got me. So, I know. So, you're welcome. Never could have a big laugh. I was kind of hoping they would see that one.
You were excited, huh? About that first drive. I was like, oh my God, North Carolina looks really physical.
I don't think I've ever seen a first drive be less indicative of how a game is going to go than that first drive.
Maybe ever.
Ever. Seriously.
If you had just turned off the game, you'd be like, Belichick's winning the ACC. And nope. That's not how it was.
Listen. The other thing, too, is what could he really X and O his way to dominance? Like, how do we know how good the personnel is?
Well, he had 70 transfers. I also didn't realize there were that many.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It's very Deion-ish.
A lot of transfers.
Deion brought in, 80-something, and they were okay. Yeah, I don't know. Right, exactly. Like, this isn't even all on Belichick. This is sort of, by definition, you bring in a whole new team. And by the way, they didn't bring in Cam Ward. They brought in Gio Lopez.
Yeah, and he didn't even last the whole game. So
yeah, it wasn't like they got the number one transfer quarterback either.
No, but he was their choice, and he looked great on that opening drive. He's lefty, kind of looked like Tua. They were talking about on the broadcast, and then they kind of lived up to that. The good Tua, the bad Tua. And then Max Johnson took over, who had this really crazy injury that he's come all the way back from. Brad's son.
Yeah, that was fun. He looked great. I'm like, oh, why did that guy start? And then it was kind of garbage time, so it didn't really count.
Is this just going to be an all-around embarrassing year for Bill Belichick? I mean,
yes.
You started with a girlfriend. You got people doing deep dives on all of the embarrassing details. They may have met. She was 19 when they met, and she was coming to games in the Patriots.
She looked so awkward in the box with Randy Moss. It was unpleasant to watch. She does not know how to be like Taylor Swift and Blake Lively in the Chiefs box. They get into it. Like, they know how to play fan. She looked uncomfortable.
Well, I think I know she's not technically an employee of the university, but she's like Belichick's she's also on the staff. She's not your regular wag.
Yeah.
Wives and girlfriends. I
said to Andrew Bogusch in the newsroom today, I'm like, it feels like the universe is correcting itself on that issue. Like, whoop. I'm sorry, it's unpleasant to have a 73-year-old dating a 24-year-old, and I think the universe took it out on the football field. Do not cut that clip, because I don't really want that out there, because people could do whatever they want to do. But I have to admit, like, I did not mind watching Jordan Hudson look sad.
Well, somebody posted yesterday, I forgot who it was, the irony of this whole thing. I think it was Brett McMurphy, that Max Johnson, who came in as the backup quarterback, is the same age as Jordan Hudson.
They should date, not him and Bill Belichick.
Let that sink in.
Oh.
Yeah, that made Manny uncomfortable. It made us all uncomfortable, but it's the truth. And now Belichick has got a lot of cleaning up to do, because I did think this was going to be a situation where he went to made everybody look silly who had passed on him in the NFL, and it was not the case. 888-710-4ISN.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Tuesday. We're coming off a huge college football weekend, so want to really turn this over to you. We will get to Arch Manning. We are going to get to Alabama. We are going to get to EJ's Miami Hurricanes. And on the flip side, Notre Dame. We have LSU and Clemson. We have so many things to react to. But today is about you. What'd you see over the weekend that you want to talk to us about? And we will give you the floor. 888-710-4ISN. And oh yeah, the Cowboys and Micah Parsons landing in Green Bay, Pearl. And it is off to a bit of a rocky start, considering
Michael Parsons.
That back injury might actually be real.
Yeah, we thought that was a negotiating ploy. What is happening here?
I don't know. It's a lot going on. We will get to all of it, we promise, and we want to do it with you. Again, 888-710-4ISN. Get it going with Bill Belichick's underwhelming debut, Arch Manning's underwhelming debut, Alabama's underwhelming debut, Clemson's underwhelming debut. So many things to tackle today.
Oh, Maggie, so excited. Football season is back on Prize Picks. Every day we make choices, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Millions of users and billions of dollars awarded winnings. Prize Picks is the best place to put your takes to the test. We do it often, Mag. Plus, the app is really simple to use. You just pick 2 or more players across any sport, and there's so many sports going on right now. Pick more or less on the projections, and if you're right, you could win big.
We're so excited that Prize Picks is back with us for this football season. It is our absolute favorite way to get a little action, a little skin in the game when it comes to football, college football. It's not just that. Baseball, every single sport that's going on, WNBA, all the transactions on the app, they're fast, they're safe, they're secure. And best of all, you can get this all over the country. Texas, California, jump on into Prize Picks. It's right there for you. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code M&P. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code M&P on Prize Picks to get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. So win or lose, you get the $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing, guaranteed. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Lopez throws left. It is picked off at the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Bud Clark. Career interception number 12 for Clark. Comes up with a pick there. Read it perfectly. Baited him into it. And a score here for Bud. And the Horned Frogs go up 16-7.
That's courtesy of Learfield Sports. Welcome back. Maggie and Perloff Show, breaking down a busy, exciting college football weekend. I have a theory that could help Bill Belichick in North Carolina. And
they lost 48-14 yesterday, so they could use some help.
And it applies to any school here for the first week. It applies to Alabama. If TCU has one of those TCU seasons that goes undefeated, this is going to look a lot better. If Florida State is awesome, that'll look a lot better for Alabama. Sure. So you have to wear two hats now. If you're a North Carolina fan, you got to root for TCU. It makes it less embarrassing. I mean, you do have Stephen Belichick, so you're going to be embarrassing anyway.
Yeah,
but
it turns out maybe he's not qualified for this job, Belichick's kid.
Yeah, but, well, listen, it's on everybody there. But you got to root for your opponent. To be awesome.
Yeah, Arch Manning has to hope that the entire Ohio State defense is like first-round picks.
Well, that's 100%. He doesn't even have to hope. That's a fact. I mean, they look like a superhero movie, that defense. Where did those guys come from? Yeah,
well, Belichick's protege, Matt Patricia, with a much better debut than the master of Bill Belichick.
They actually, they might have 8 first-round picks on that defense. That defense was crazy. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let's go to the phones. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Embarrassing debut for Bill Belichick last night. Ramon's in Indianapolis. Ramon, what'd you think of Bill?
Good morning, my favorite people. And Perloff, I hear you trying to throw Bill Belichick a lifeline. There's no lifeline there. He had 4 years after Brady to show anything. He didn't do anything, not even a little bit. He didn't do anything before Tom Brady. I knew it was going to happen because the NIL, the old guys already ran off and Saban and all the stuff like that, even with a few transfer portals things going on. Sometimes you're just out of touch. Now, I'm 60 years old, and I'm a youth sports coach, soccer, basketball. Just went to a baseball game yesterday and heard some young people talking about how boring it was. So Cincinnati, Toronto, it was a great game, matter of fact.
Yeah.
And just heard them talking about how boring it is. He's out of touch with he's out of touch. He's just truly out of touch. And it gets to that point. I don't know if he's how Pete Carroll continues to do it. I think Pete Carroll just has more of a liveliness. He's got that California mindset. So he probably stays more in tune with what's going on. That's how I survive, try to stay in tune with these young people. But Belichick seems to have been out of touch for a long time.
Yeah, but Ramon, I mean, he's obviously thriving with one member of the demographic.
Yeah, and
he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend, so clearly he's in touch with some part of the young people today.
Maggie.
Literally touching them.
And Maggie, as a man who's been married 33 years, and these old cats like Shannon Sharp, stuff like that, I would advise them not to. We're not talking about the legalities of it, people.
No.
It's
about consenting adults is just kind of cringy.
Yeah, the mentality. And Arch Manning will get better. LSU, I love that. Alabama, love to see them lose. We need new teams. And Florida State, great to see them come back up. So, and then Micah, he needs to let him sit the first 3 games. Come back against the Dallas game, he'll be fine. That's a long-term draft. I mean, a long-term trade, not a short-term trade. So let's don't beat up on Green Bay yet.
Ramon, thank you for that. Lot to chew on there.
Yeah, Ramon just hit our entire rundown in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think we can all go home now. No, you know what I'm picking up from a lot of people, not just us on the show, but now even just Ramon, and we get to more callers. There was more of a liking to see some people lose. There was more joy in some of the people who fell flat over the weekend. Schadenfreude, right? Maybe something like that.
Oh, no.
Watching Alabama, maybe very cathartic for Florida State. Man, they really needed that. I feel like the program is almost teetering on, just, hey, you had to remember back in the day, FSU really was a great program. They had a huge win. They look like they can be players in the ACC, but it's almost like people enjoyed watching teams lose more than they liked watching their own teams win.
Well, I would say there's two. I think those two you mentioned are way above everyone. Everyone's been waiting for Alabama to come back down, and now they're back in the, Mike Shula era. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead there, but it does seem like Kalen DeBoer could bring the program way down. And Bill Belichick, we've explained earlier, it is distasteful to have a 73-year-old man dating a 24-year-old woman. And now we get to see that play out in football hate.
Well, it's also just the latest for Belichick. He wasn't exactly Mr. Warm and fuzzy, likable guy.
Exactly.
He was always the smartest guy in the room. I got the answers. No one knows how to do this but me. And then it looks like the draft picks at the end of New England were just horrifically bad. And now the team building with 70 transfers. So let's, do guys even know each other's names on this team? Maybe you give it a second to try to settle it.
I mean, that would be fair, but that is not what we're doing today.
No. Jay is in Nashville. He's our pal. What's up, Jay?
What's up, man? First of all, it's kind of hard to watch Belichick. I mean, really, every time they put him on TV, he looked like a Manchurian candidate. And that 24-year-old old man predator that he's dating, man, it's like she's his handler or something. And it's just really hard to watch. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I don't want to talk bad about him. It's just hard to watch, and I kind of feel bad for him. Even though I'm a lifelong Patriots hater, but I got to respect the man. But as far as QB play this weekend, yeah, it was some disappointment. Arch, I don't think it was that Arch played real bad. Matt Patricia was throwing some pro style magic at him as far as defensive wise. Really, in that game, both of them quarterbacks sucked.
Yeah.
There's a saying, and both of them suck. Really, neither one of them look like a top 5 team. I don't care. The only thing that's making Ohio State look good is that defense. But my top 3 quarterbacks of the weekend, first of all, who you two think was the best? Had the best performance as a quarterback, or most electrifying weekend as a quarterback this weekend?
I tell you, jumped out to me.
Yeah.
Or Garrett Nussmeier. Just for the second half of the Clemson game. Because I'm not counting if you beat Elon, I don't care.
And you're asking me, I thought it was Haynes King. And, it's funny because he was playing for Georgia Tech. They beat Colorado on Friday night. He is really fun to watch. And I thought Castellanos, obviously from Florida State, the stat line is so weird. It's not going to blow you away. But the guy's just a winner. I mean, he's got this early season magic. I thought that he looked really good. And actually, some kid from Cal looks like might actually be one of the best quarterbacks in college football. He's a true freshman.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to mention. That true freshman from Cal, I watched that. Matter of fact, I went and watched the replay. I saw the highlights and I went back and watched a little bit of the replay. Man, that kid. I mean, and you think about it, they're not going to be able to draft until 2028. But my number 2 was Castellanos from Florida State.
Yeah.
And really, I enjoyed both of the quarterbacks in that Miami-Notre Dame game. I really liked that. The only receiver that jumped out was the guy from the Miami game, number 7, that had that almost
C.J. Daniels. The Odell Beckham catch.
Yeah, he almost had that Odell Beckham catch. I mean, Odell Beckham looking. But as far as Alabama, let me tell you right now, I used to be Jay in Alabama. I'm telling you right now, you think Alabama fans are obnoxious when they're winning? No, it's when they're losing. And I'm sure you saw the kid that gave the camera to Bird.
Yep.
You're gonna see a lot more of that. You're gonna see a whole lot more of that.
Jay, thank you. Well, we had Bama fans crashing out, but I just want to circle back for a second. If you haven't, and I don't know if everyone's dialed into Cal football, but Jaron Kiawe Sagapalitele, I think, Bogusch. I think I'm right on that. He's a true freshman. You're the newsman around here.
Yeah, Bogusch definitely has the answer to that.
Yeah, hard pass. Get me Schwartz.
From Hawaii, true freshman, and just made it look very, very easy. So just a guy to keep your eye on in the ACC.
Can I say one thing about all the quarterbacks?
Yeah.
You guys understand this was advanced preseason. This week 1, we are overreacting. You could see, I mean, you had 3 top 10 matchups, right? 4 of the teams, the first 4, didn't even hit 20 points. Like this, we have no idea who these teams are going to be in a month.
Let's pause on Arch for a second, though. Let's talk about
Arch, all these guys, every single person you mentioned, like, you have to understand there's going to be very erratic things because nobody was ready to play. The defenses owned the day.
That is
every
true.
under hit.
You're right. And the final score is Ohio State wins 14-7. Like,
what is that?
It was just not it wasn't an offensive game, although we knew Ohio State because Julian Sayin had zero experience, that they were going to be very, very conservative.
But they have Jeremiah Smith, who all of a sudden can't catch. Like, you would have thought that they could score more than 14 points.
I know, a couple, and Ryan Williams, the wide receiver for Alabama, was also at some butterfingers. Okay, but let's just pause on Arch for a second, because obviously the hype was out of control and is going to continue to be out of control for Arch.
Yeah.
And he had a really tough assignment. To go into the horseshoe, to try to beat the reigning national champions, it was going to take a lot. It also looked bad. I think we can call it what it was. It also looked bad for a guy who has been, has had 2 collegiate starts, someone who has been sitting. We knew he was going to be the starter from the moment the last season ended, and he's been in the program. I know there's some new faces on offense, but that offensive line, guys, he had time.
That was a brand new offensive line.
It is, and the quarterback sneaks were not good, but he had time when he was throwing the ball. He was off balance. He was throwing sidearm. It looked like the fundamentals were off.
I don't know.
He was rattled.
I'm not sure about the O-line got horrible grades. First of all, they had like a million false starts, but I'm not so sure. It was a couple things. Jay nailed it. Like Matt Patricia. Did anyone see Dan Orlovsky on ESPN's breakdown? Matt Patricia was doing things. Arch had no idea what he was looking at.
Yep.
So for better or worse, the problem was not, I know his footwork was all over the place. The problem was he did not know where to go with the ball. So he dropped back and he's like, I've never seen this before. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know where to throw it. All my receivers are glued to their defensive backs. So he started pressing. He threw a pick, which was on his wide receiver, in my opinion. He threw a deep ball to...
Underthrew the ball.
No, I mean, the wide receiver did nothing on that play. He did not. And then what happened? Arch started to fix himself because he's like, well, there's only one guy here who's even trying a wide receiver. I'm going to throw the ball to him. 19 Parker Livingstone. So I think like they were learning in real time what's working, what's not working. But Patricia, dominant performance.
It was a masterclass, no doubt, but Arch, 17 for 30, 170 yards. He had a touchdown interception, 10 rushes, 38 yards. Doesn't really tell the story because it was late in the game when they were in desperation. He had 3 passes for 65 yards to make that stat line look better. Halftime, 5 of 10 for 26 yards. He was 0 for 5 on passes of 5 or more yards into the third quarter. And, there were guys I thought who were under lots of pressure this weekend. Ty Simpson was under a lot of pressure this weekend, as far as, like, not the narrative pressure, the physical pressure on the field, like defensive ends getting after him. To me, Arch can move around. He had time, guys.
To throw to who?
But he just looked really, things were closed off, but it was not like guys were closing in on him and he was just throwing the ball up. That's not what the game looked like.
Well, I mean, the last play.
The final play. They crunched him.
I thought, listen, the assignment's just going to get easier and easier. Who are those? Why all of a sudden, we know about Caleb Downs, the safety for Ohio State. Why are there 5 of them out there for Ohio State? Who are those guys? I know they have a brand new defense. They have 8 new starters, and they were flying around. I'm very curious. That's going to be a case where if Ohio State goes undefeated, which may or may not happen, Julian Sayin didn't look great, then Texas looks better. And the other thing is, too, Texas probably should have won the game. I mean,
their defense is awesome. I mean,
they were down in 4th and 1. The problem is the red zone. Like they got in the red zone and failed on 2. If they had converted their 4th downs, they win the game. But the O-line, you saw it 4th and 1 at the goal line. The O-line got no push. That's a concern. Arch is a concern. The receivers are concerned, but they still might be hanging around and not. They might be right back in the mix. Watch, they're gonna win their next 3 games, and then we'll see. I think they have Florida as their next big match. We'll see. I just would not count out Texas.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. How concerned are you for Arch Manning? Me? Very, very concerned, because there's also no place for him to hide. It's not like, this all of a sudden now the attention is going to go away. If anything, this shaky performance just brings even more eyeballs and potential criticism. Let's get to Andrew Bogusch, who's got even more of what was going on this weekend In a word, lots.
Guys, good morning. All your headlines are sponsored by Prize Picks. Don't miss any of the action this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download Prize Picks and use code PRIMETIME and get a $50 bonus credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
And let's not forget shallow.
Bill Belichick didn't release a depth chart for last night's North Carolina debut. We thought he was just being his secretive self, but maybe they just don't have any players.
They come from the edge. Barnes finds a seam. 30, 35, 40. Barnes down the right-hand sideline, down to the 40, down to the 30. They don't have an angle. Barnes will score. Hit the horn. Touchdown TCU, 75-yard touchdown run to open up the second half. And the Horned Frogs blow it open now 26-7 in this third quarter.
That was the first of 3 TCU touchdowns in the first 8:04 of the third quarter. It ended 41-7 Horned Frogs after that burst. They won 48-14 in Chapel Bill.
Obviously, we have a lot of work to do. We did do a better job all the way around, coaching, playing, all 3 phases of the game. Just wasn't up to what it needs to be, and I know we're a lot better than that.
What do you even do first? What do you tackle first?
I used to have a theory on Bill Belichick that he would always lose the 4th game of the season. If they had a great Patriots team, he's like, we're too good. I got to find something to coach off of. So he would kind of throw the 4th game. He has a lot to coach off of this one. He's like, Bill Belichick, he's always talking about, I love coaching off losses. I can really show the guys, man, he's going to be busy this week. He's in his.
Yeah, and he may need to change quarterbacks as well because Gio Lopez left this one in the third quarter with a back injury from a sack. He fumbled on that hit. TCU returned it for a touchdown. Horned Frogs QB Josh Hoover, meanwhile, threw for 284 and 2 scores in the win. Micah Parsons went through his first practice as a Packer yesterday, and we got confirmation that he is dealing with an actual back issue that was not part of his hold-in in Dallas. Parsons might get an epidural to play their opener this weekend.
There we go again with the epidurals.
Yeah, I mean, they work, but...
What are you talking about? Childbirth?
Yeah, it's great. You don't feel a thing.
Can't be worse than playing basketball with a sprained ankle.
Maggie had 11 tackles after that epidural.
I was flying all over the place.
NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
I saw the word epidural and I wanted to panic because I remember how serious that was with my wife.
Yeah.
I'm like, doesn't that scare you a little bit that Micah Parsons might get an epidural? He just signed the biggest contract the defensive end's ever gotten.
Yeah, it scared me when Matthew Stafford got one last week, but I was like, he's ready to go also.
He's 38. I get that. True. Micah Parsons just signed the biggest deal a defensive end has ever signed.
Yeah, you hand over $47 million a year. You're hoping the guy's got the L4 and L5 vertebrae going to be
we always
intact.
talk about specifically, you and I are always like, if that L4 isn't sturdy.
The L3, you're fine.
L3, no biggie.
Yeah.
L4, ooh.
You guys will just take you behind the woodshed.
Does anybody else in the crowd feel a little tightness in their back when you talk L4,
L5? Juan Soto clubbed a go-ahead grand slam yesterday afternoon in Detroit. It was his first homer this season with more than one man on base.
That's incredible.
The lead did not last because the Mets have about 1.5 good pitchers, and neither of them was throwing yesterday, so Soto did more hitting in the 7th.
Summers set, left on left, pitch. Soto chops one down the right field line. It's a fair ball heading toward the right field corner. Big trouble. Terrence is in. They're going to wave around Lindor. The throw comes firing out of the corner. The throw on the way to third. Not in time. 2-run triple for Juan Soto to get the Mets back in front 8-6.
That's Keith Radd on Mets Radio. 6 RBI for Soto in this 10-8 nail-biter over the Tigers, but the Mets stay 6 games behind the Phillies in the East, 4 games up on the Reds for the last wildcard spot because both Philly and Cincy had last at-bat wins yesterday. WNBA last night, the LA Sparks rallying for a 91-85 win in Seattle. They were down 5 with 2:47 to go, and now they're just a game and a half behind Seattle and Indiana for the last 2 playoff spots. And top-seeded Yannick Sinner with a 6-1, 6-1, 6-1 demolition of Alexander Bublik to reach the U.S. Open quarterfinals. Guys, back to you.
Folks, thanks so much. Okay, we've got Bill Belichick out there for you to react to. His debut was a dud. Arch Manning, ditto. But who is to blame for Arch looking not ready to play the part? Is it Arch? Is it Sark? Is it us in the media? We got all that for you and more Cowboys on the way. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
Ark Manning.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
St. Texas.
Play fake. Manning, he'll throw it this time. Oh, it's intercepted. Matthews Jr.
Who else? Gus Johnson on Fox. Kind of a waste of a Gus game. There just wasn't enough offense for Gus to really dial it up. But he'll do it anyway. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, Arch Manning. Disappointing. What do you say? I mean, doesn't mean his career is going to be disappointing, Pearl. It doesn't mean that his, football career's over. But for the amount of hype that Arch has had and for what little we saw of him, earlier in his career in Texas, we thought, all right, a Steve Sarkisian offense. Yes, it's going to be difficult against Ohio State, but I think we all believed it would look a little better than it did. He was indecisive. He was inaccurate. Fundamentals seem off. And there's a lot to build on if you want to be positive about it.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. If they had won the game, would we be saying this? Because they did seem like Texas got a lot of momentum in the second half. The 2 4th down plays destroyed them. And this is systematic. Like Sark stinks in the red zone. There's something he needs explosive plays because for some reason they're not a good 4th and 1 at the goal line team. They never had, last year killed them too. Yeah,
and it's such a momentum shifter, to come up with a big stop like that, even when then your offense is then backed up. I mean, it was just so big for Ohio State to come up with these massive stops on 4th down. Yeah. And I guess here's what I think. We're not out here saying Julian Sayin was amazing. So he's the quarterback for Ohio State. So I think that even if Texas had won the game 14-7 instead of losing 14-7 and it looked the way it looked, I still think we'd be critical of Arch. I do. Yeah.
But not as critical.
We all watched it. Well, this is my big takeaway. I was one of those people who thought Arch would probably go to the NFL at the end of the year. If things all fell right for him, if they do, they don't need to win the title, but if he had a good game. I watched him in this opener. I'm like, oh, he's still got a long way to go, it felt. And, he can play lesser competition in the next couple of weeks, and I'm sure will look a lot better. But, they're the number 1 team in the country. He's been in the system. He's not a true freshman who just walked onto campus. Thought, all right, well, he actually needs a lot more time, is what was my takeaway.
I'm curious. I'm curious if that's going to ultimately be an overreaction because he'll probably start racking up big numbers. And then we'll see. I mean, listen, when you're this prize a recruit and, you had even a little taste of success, the NFL is not going to really care. They're not a result. They don't care about your college results at all. They don't even really care about your stats. Like if they see it, they'll see it. The issues are the footwork obviously was a mess, but it still comes out like you're telling me you didn't eye that guy? I'm like, ooh, he's pretty tall and he kind of throws the ball. It comes out like a pro.
Okay, so that was also one of the surprising parts of this, right? Is when you watch guys who have been, who are so developed, right? Like Arch Manning, who's got the best coaches, the best possible everything around him since he's 10 years old. I almost expect that even if you can be inaccurate one day or you can have an off day, that at least your fundamentals are going to look good. You look overcoached. Like you look like you can fall back on things that look right. Not everyone's going to have an awesome day all the time. I understand that. But Arch, just the sidearm, the off balance, like none of the coaching that I'm sure he's had tons of throughout his life seem to be on display.
Yeah, but listen, Anthony Richardson in Florida was never on balance. And he was throwing. He went number 4 in the pick.
And it was a huge mistake.
DJ Lagway, I did not watch much Lagway. Yeah. He's all over the place, and he's clearly a super NFL prospect. Just like you could see it. And Arch is big. He's mobile. And there was nowhere to throw downfield, but you got the sense if he started winging it downfield, the ball was going to go down there. He's got a strong arm. You're right. The fundamentals were terrible, but I think that had a lot to do with he didn't know what he was looking at. Now, that's a fair criticism.
Totally. He did not know where to go. He was not getting pressured up the middle, where he had 1 second to throw. You're right. Yeah. The secondary, they were blanketed.
They were also doing a lot of double teams. Now, if Texas had been able to run the ball down Ohio State's throat, that would have changed Ohio State's defense, but their run game was okay. Nothing to write home about. So Ohio State had every luxury. They were in really good down and distance, and they started double teaming all the receivers.
So here's a question. Are we not maybe putting enough of the blame here on Steve Sarkisian? Because, one thing that you and I talked about before the game, you're like, listen, how bad could it be for Arch? He's got Sark who's calling plays for him. He's going to look good. And there were a few plays. It wasn't all bad. There were a few plays that looked really explosive, and especially late in the game when they were in desperation mode. But does Sark deserve some criticism here. Yeah.
Definitely some criticism. But, I just think it's, again, oversimplification. Stu Mandel, our buddy at The Athletic, tweeted, this is what happens when an offense has 4 new linemen. Like, things were not working smooth. This felt to me for both teams, even more so Ohio State, like a 4th preseason game. Like, Texas has a lot to work out. It's a new quarterback, a lot of new personnel. Obviously, their best receiver is in Green Bay, killing it in training camp in Matthew Golden. I think they have some exploring to see what they got here. Now, one of the reasons Sark used to be able to scheme people open, if say Alabama, is because he had 4 first-round prospects at wide receiver. Like, they were fast and they could run routes. I'm more worried about the wide receiving core. Like, what did you see? Like, Ryan Wingo, did he look like he had a solid base underneath him the whole time? Not to me.
I mean, they didn't look like a bunch of bums out there. I was watching on the other side. I'm watching Jeremiah Smith drop 2 passes in the first quarter that was like beyond shocking. I watched Ryan Williams catch, I think, 5 passes on 11 targets for Alabama. So, I think maybe wide receivers were having a little bit of trouble. Maybe not for EJ's Miami Hurricanes, but
Well, even Miami, by the way, we'll get to this. Like, where'd the tempo go? Why weren't they flying up and down the field? Like, why are they? Everybody was slow on offense this week, and Miami was very effective, but even they slowed the ball down. I think everybody's. It was August, right? These games all happened in August. Maybe September 1 last night, but I think everybody's offense is still in its nascent stages. I think coaches are learning because of the transfer portal. You have a lot of new guys out there, so I'm saying give everyone a break. Let's go back in a month.
Yeah, I don't want to look at Texas wide receivers and be like, wow, these guys really, like, they're a bunch of nobodies because Xavier Worthy and Matthew Golden are in the NFL now.
Oh,
like,
that one I feel pretty strongly
I think Arch was just missing them. I do. I don't think he was giving everyone these really catchable balls. Even the 4th down in the end zone, that he missed.
Every time the camera angle showed down the field, there was a Ohio State defensive back glued to a Texas wide receiver. They got no separation. Except Arch missed his first pass, and that was schemed wide open. That was all on Arch. But generally, he was throwing to guys who were well covered. There was a lot of, what are the colors for Ohio State? Is that, what's that called? Scarlet. Scarlet and gray. There was a lot of scarlet and gray mixed in with every receiver. I just did not see open guys.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. What did you see from Arch Manning? Are you encouraged, discouraged, or was this just all about Ohio State's defense? EJ, you look like you want to say something.
I just think that there's going to have to be a real reckoning and a conversation, not necessarily saying that he's not going to be good. We don't know that yet. But 5-star quarterbacks coming out of high school have just not been it. And his class behind him, other 5-star quarterbacks, Nico Iamaleava, did he look good against Utah? Did he look good at Tennessee last year? Dante Moore, Jackson Arnold, Malachi Nelson. Those are the guys that are in his class. And we've seen in recent years the Conor Wegmans in the world and these guys that have been these 5-star recruits that we expect so much out of. For whatever reason, they don't perform that way in the college game. So everyone was jumping the gun about him being the definite number 1 pick and this definite generational prospect. Without seeing him play against real teams, there just is no way to know. We didn't know those other guys were going to be bums until they played against real teams.
We saw a couple games. I mean, they were against Mississippi State. I know. That was enough. But by the way, that's enough to think something good was going to happen.
You can think it's something to think that he has natural raw talent, which he does. Yeah. I mean, I agree with Perloff. He has a great arm. He made some great throws on Saturday. I don't want to make it sound like he just was awful the whole time, but.
He's a good prospect. I mean, like you look at like Cade Klubnik, for example.
Yeah, it was
like
may have lost the Heisman,
but he doesn't have the size.
Probably did.
He clearly doesn't have the size and the mobility of like Arch is an athlete. You could tell, and we knew that. By the way, every quarterback you just named, I don't know how did Malachi Nelson do? The other ones won big.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold. This was
yeah, he looked great.
Right. He was a running back playing quarterback. Do you watch? I watched the game. Well, he was just running every time.
He only passed for 108 yards.
Yeah, but we knew that about Jackson Arnold coming in. I mean, everyone knew his primary threat was running.
Well, Oklahoma, they basically were like, "Yo, you can't throw the ball. Like, get out of here." And I think I think it was a great job by Hugh Freeze and that offensive staff being like, if you don't like your first read, just run. Like, I mean, I was like, am I watching Tim Tebow in the NFL over again? What the hell is this? But it was effective, though.
He's been compared to, coming up, he was Tebow. By the way, Malachi Nelson lost. Utah State.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think
Utah State took down UTEP 28-16. It's actually pretty good for Malachi Nelson. Anyway, that's not your point. I
John-
totally understand
John
what you're saying.
Moore was the
But
one
Arch
guy
is
who
not
played
your. Arch doesn't fit in that list, and you know it because he's not just Dante Moore or some normal five.
How do you know that? You don't.
He's much bigger, much stronger, much faster. I think the NFL looks at it way differently. They do not care how these guys play in college. They want to see the prospect.
Nico's 6'4", 200 pounds. Arch is 6'4", 215. Like, these guys got arms. These guys were seen as star prospects. And again, this is just his class. This goes back years with these five-star quarterbacks.
But Arch was a much
out.
bigger recruit than any of those guys. Nico was second.
Nico was number 2. They're both rated 100 on 247 Sports.
And by the way, Joey Aguilar looked pretty good for Tennessee, so Nico may have made a really grave mistake by playing hardball with Tennessee and then finding himself at UCLA running for his life.
Or maybe he just stinks.
I don't think he just stinks. I think that he made a bad mistake because that UCLA defense also is terrible. Okay, lots more, including Alabama next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
And the fans are storming the field! Let's fire up the war chant and plant the spear! Those win! Those win! Nobody gave this football team a shot in this one, but the unconquered spirit of the Seminoles prevailed once again. Down goes Bama. The final, Florida State 31, Alabama 17.
That was the final call on FSU's radio network. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We have plenty of time to unpack this amazing win by Florida State, Pearl. They were 14-point underdogs in this game against Alabama. Bama comes in. We thought, all right, year one, Kalen DeBoer, kind of get a pass, right?
Oh, sure.
You're replacing Nick Saban. I mean, this is an impossible assignment. They had some awful losses last year. Vandy, Oklahoma. It was just dreadful. But also had some good wins, right?
Yeah.
Beat Georgia and so there was enough good to go with the bad.
9-3.
They could build off.
They were 9-3 before the bowl game. I mean, that's promising.
Totally. And then Saturday afternoon happened where Florida State, and I know there was a lot on Florida State here, right? You 2 years ago get left out of the college football playoff even though you go undefeated. Then the next year you follow that up with a 2-10 campaign. You're at home. It felt like the program was honestly like teetering on irrelevance, everyone getting fired, all of that stuff. You had Tommy Castellanos, the quarterback from FSU, who said they don't have Nick Saban to save them anymore. He's talking a lot of junk. But listen, the proof was in the spread. Everyone thought Alabama was a much better team than Florida State. And Florida State not only looked better, they looked like they actually wanted it. I think Alabama thought they had this game already wrapped up. And it wasn't just the terrible tackling on the defensive line. The secondary, I mean, they were just chasing after guys. And even when they did get near them, they weren't good enough or motivated enough to actually finish the job.
Yeah, there's a video going around of a Alabama safety named Bray Hubbard jogging on a touchdown run that has just become like the symbol of Alabama not having effort. Can you imagine a defensive player, especially a defensive back, Nick Saban's position, not trying under Nick Saban? That is unthinkable.
And, it's funny because when you have to try to live up to someone like Nick Saban, it's going to be impossible, right? But the first and foremost is motivating your players to actually care. I mean,
for Nick Saban, that's a natural, right? Like, he didn't even have to think. He just generally is such a motivator.
Well, and for Kalen DeBoer, I think this is the part of it that's so damaging for him is Alabama, you do have every advantage. You are going to have great talent, and everyone believes he's a good coach, but you got to make sure your players are actually, have a little fear of the football gods in them, and they did not in that game in Florida State.
The way it came together, Kalen DeBoer comes from Washington. I don't think these Alabama players knew him. I don't think he probably, I don't know if his staff had recruited them from early on, and maybe they did. But anyway, Kalen DeBoer obviously is not having that impact that Nick Saban had. Here's the thing. We knew he was a good coach because that team with Penix at the end, that offense was really good.
Yep.
They kind of fell short against Michigan in the final game. You know that schematically he's a good coach, but the magic is gone with this guy. I'm sorry. I know that's jumping. I was urging caution with Arch Manning. The fact that it was on the road, maybe Florida State's great. It just feels like Kalen DeBoer, combined with 2 years, like his offense is totally not threatening at all. That's and Ryan Grubb, Mr. NFL,
Well.
the plays just don't look, I don't know, threatening to the other team when that's really the goal of an offense.
Yeah, it was a little surprising. Ryan Grubb, but you joke around, Mr. NFL. He was with the Seahawks last year, but he and Kalen DeBoer, so Grubb's the offensive coordinator, he and DeBoer had been together for years and years. They thought, all right, well, the two of them back together, now you're going to see some magic. And to be fair, like Ty Simpson throws for 254 yards, but he was pressured, man. Like
he looked bad too.
You could see there were some throws that were beautiful throws, but he was 1 for 10 versus pressure. I mean, he just could not find a seam. Let's hear from Kalen DeBoer. Can we Manny play Cup 15? He says his team played too tentative.
We can't be hesitant early on. Okay, we got to start faster in all ways. Yes, I know we went down and scored first drive, pieced some plays together, and found a way to put it in the end zone. But just the next couple series, both sides of the ball, we got to do a better job.
Okay, more from DeBoer said they allowed FSU to get comfortable.
We gave them life. We gave them hope and confidence in the first half there. And then what it does is it puts you in a spot where you got to be perfect. You're playing from behind, and you got to be perfect. And the stress on the guys to make every play becomes greater and greater.
It felt like it. It really did. It's honestly a perfect assessment. I know DeBoer, people are not going to be satisfied with those answers, but he's nailing it. I mean, they were down. They were playing from behind. And honestly, when they cut the deficit from 24-17, that's when I placed a live bet on the Alabama money line because it was plus 900. And I'm like, how am I the only person here? This is amazing. Plus 900. Like, this is it. Bama's going to, like, no pun intended, turn the tide. And then next possession, Florida State scores. I was like, and good night.
Wow, you can't bet against Thomas Castellanos. It's one of the rules of the show, Maggie. We've done that before.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that guy, he's got a lot of chutzpah, as they say. The thing about DeBoer, too, can he make a quarterback change to fix this a little bit?
I don't think that's the problem. You're going to go away from Ty Simpson. I don't think the problem was necessarily the quarterback, in my opinion. The problem to me was the defense looked toothless.
I think the quarterback is going to be I would watch that. I thought Ty Simpson, it feels like he's been around forever. Like, he's always okay, right? But I don't know. I feel like they need a shot of electricity at quarterback. And I'm curious. They have a freshman that everyone talks about. If they try that, because look at their schedule, Maggie. I mean, like, you can't. Florida State might be really good, and that's fine. But they have so many incredibly tough matchups coming here. Like, they need to improve rapidly. Because look at the quarterbacks they face are insane. Like, they face basically the first round of the NFL draft in the next 10 games.
Yeah, so they get a little reprieve here with Louisiana Monroe next, and then Wisconsin. But then it's at Georgia. Vandy, we know, has been tough. Obviously, you're getting to the SEC schedule. I'm just going to go line for line on that.
At South Carolina, LSU comes in, Oklahoma and John Mateer, even Auburn, the big one. Who knows? Like, they really have to improve rapidly.
Okay, so Kalen DeBoer, dead man walking at this point?
Oh, God. I came in here and said don't overreact to everything, but I do feel if you get a dead man walking vibe, you were freezing cold takes yesterday on Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be freezing cold takes here, but it does feel like Kalen DeBoer, it's not working.
And I think it was probably just a bad fit. It was probably just a bad fit because it doesn't, you had Saban forever as your defensive guy. I understand the urge to go with an offensive person in Kalen DeBoer and try to be a little more of that high-flying offense like what we saw with Washington with Michael Penix, but it just doesn't seem like a fit. And it is really hard to be the guy after the guy. And there were guys who said no to it, right? Dabo Swinney said no. I think others said no.
Dan Lanning, I believe, said no, right? The Oregon coach.
It's really difficult. It's really challenging. This one just looks like a bad fit. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Jay in Nashville called earlier, and he said that Alabama fans, you think that they're bad when they're winning. Actually, more insufferable when they're losing.
But I'm a lifelong Patriots hater.
I heard there's some numbers on this, like guys on the other side of the glass. You don't know bad Alabama, really.
Oh, nope. I do a little bit.
I don't.
Manny's never witnessed it.
I remember Mike Shula.
But the thing about it,
yeah,
I seem to remember it as irrelevant Alabama. Like, they weren't viewed as, like, they were not must-watch TV. Maggie, you probably remember some of it.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit.
They just weren't. they were like a relic of the past, kind of like Nebraska and Oklahoma to a large extent are now, Florida. Like, that's the thing. You forget, and we've talked about this before, dynasties don't last forever, even in college football. We've seen Nebraska used to be the team for decades, and then it can go away.
Are we watching that with Alabama? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. And then on top of it, listen, they should have every advantage in the world. They are an SEC team. They do have money to spend. But in this day and age, it is a little bit harder. You can't just stack the 5 stars on 5 stars and have guys sit. It's not going to fly.
Yeah, and also the turnover at quarterback, the transfer portal just affects everything. Like Florida State goes back to a short quarterback and it looks awesome again. So you can change programs in a second. I think that does not work at all because you're right. Like Alabama, one of their superpowers was they had all like 3 deep. And now they clearly don't go. Although a quarterback, I disagree a little bit there. I think Ty Simpson is big part of the problem. Maybe they can move on there.
I was going to ask that to you guys. Watching that game, I'm like, why didn't they get a transfer portal quarterback?
Yeah. Why did they get John Mateer?
I don't know. It was bizarre to me because I really, when they announced that Simpson was going to be a starter, it took him forever to win the job, and he hadn't been all that impressive before this in terms of making any threat at Jalen Milroe, who was not a lock at all to be the starter for Kalen DeBoer. I was expecting, well, maybe he's just been lighting up and he's going to play really well. They look like they have a big quarterback problem.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. There are other programs, too, where you're wondering, why didn't they dip into the transfer portal? Yeah, and now it's easy to say after they just lost their opener.
Yeah, to me, I think that Simpson is actually going to be okay. It's not to me about that. I thought that the offensive line was manhandled in the trenches. I thought that it was uncharacteristic drops, again, from Ryan Williams, who
may be hurt, by the way.
That's true. Jeremy Bernard seemed like he was pretty good, I guess.
He's good. He's actually really good.
Yeah, he's at 8 receptions, 146 yards. Josh Cuevas, the other good weapon for them. I didn't think it was a quarterback problem to me. That I thought this was an effort problem. This was a defense and an effort problem where they walked into FSU and, I don't think they were expecting this much pushback. FSU brought the fight. And at one point, it's a driving rainstorm. And I think they got a little I don't know. I think Kalen DeBoer nailed it. They got tentative.
I guess because it's Alabama and defense is their identity usually, that maybe that's why and the effort problems were huge.
Yeah.
It's just, to Perloff's point earlier, I think of Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubbs, I'm expecting really creative, fun offense. That's kind of why I was still very high on this hiring. Because I'm like, I think Alabama may unlock some things offensively that they just haven't had because they've been able to just bully people over. Where was any of that?
I mean, Ty Simpson was 23 for 43. This is college football.
From behind the entire game, basically.
That's a terrible completion percentage for somebody throwing 43 passes in college
football. He didn't even crack 300 yards.
I hear you. I understand. I know.
And also, too, is it Keelan Russell is the freshman? I don't know if he'd be the next one in, but he can. Maybe he can run. Maybe Austin Mack can run. I don't think Ty Simpson is a threat with his legs, which they might need in this offense.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Was that the most disappointing season debut? And I'll ask you this question too, Pearl. Who are you more worried about? Yeah, well, and Saban's he is not coming to save him. People are saying, he's going to come out of the booth. He's not going to. Are you more worried about Arch Manning or are you more worried about Alabama for this season?
You want to do that as a poll?
This season, not forever.
Yeah. Oh, Alabama by a mile. I mean, I read the schedule. Like, they have to play 300 times better. Texas has a great chance to right the ship and at least get to the playoffs.
You don't see you've completely written off Alabama, not a shot they can get to the playoffs.
No. I think it's going to be really hard. I don't know what the odds are. I'd say Texas, because I don't think the committee is going to judge them harshly for this loss to Ohio State. Close loss on the road, number 1 team. I think there's a lot of football. Alabama's SEC schedule is tougher. I think Alabama has a much longer shot. So I think Texas will get back to the playoff. And I think Arch, if he has team success, that'll be enough to at least right the ship. I feel like Alabama's ship is about to go over a cliff.
Yeah, see, I'm more concerned for Arch than I am actually for Alabama because I do think you can fix effort. You should be able to. Your college football coach. Maybe this was one huge giant wake-up call to the guys on the roster because they clearly, to me, have talent. I'm, I guess, a little higher on Ty Simpson than you guys are as far as who was at fault for why they lost in that game at Florida State. And you can fix effort. And to me, the one thing about Arch is I get a little worried, not what he can do against the lesser competition, but Texas has a really hard schedule as well. Yeah. What's going to happen when he plays Georgia? And if Arch gets nowhere to hide, not that Alabama does either, but Arch gets nowhere to hide. Like the spotlight becomes brighter and brighter, and the mistakes get more magnified. And if he's out there throwing ducks, like the one interception, I thought you blame the wide receiver on that one.
The wide receiver got bullied so bad on that play, and I'm like, you're a D1 wide receiver. What are you doing there, man?
Well,
and Arch got so
underthrew him by 4 yards.
Wait, you overthrew that one, right? Or
no, it was under, and the DB just came back and picked it out of the air.
The thing about that game, though, you have to judge Ohio State. I don't think Arch, by the way, that team has gotten to the Final Four 2 years in a row. Like, I just think I have a little more faith in Texas. And ultimately, Arch doesn't have to do that much to be okay. Like, I'm just talking about okay. I don't know. I'm talking about number one overall pick. If that team's in the college football playoff, how are you going to kill them?
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Are you more concerned for Alabama as a whole or Arch Manning as a singular quarterback? Let us know. And again, today's about you. We're going to try to get to everything that we saw over the weekend from all the disappointing college debuts. And we'll get to the Cowboys with Micah Parsons, and he's now in Green Bay. But that didn't stop teammates from letting it be known, Pearl, that, well, good riddance. A little surprised by that. A little surprised they were that quick to turn on Micah Parsons. 888-710-4ISN. We have the M&P 500 coming your way next. Whose stock is up? Whose stock is down after a big college football weekend? Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. M&P 500 stock up, stock down after a busy 3-day weekend. All right, Maggie, get us started.
Yeah, I think you got to go stock up first. Tommy Castellanos. I mean, the guy talked a lot of smack. He said that, he's the Florida State quarterback. He said of Alabama, Nick Saban's not here to save you. They were 14-point underdogs, and he has so much you can see it. It's oozing out of him, right? The leadership, how he's able to just make winning plays on the field, even when his stat lines don't really jump out at you. And he and Gus Malzahn are together, and they stomped Alabama. It was a shocking result, but Tommy Castellanos, stock up.
No, I mean, you could put him right with the guy at Texas Tech, Cody Campbell, formerly T. Boone Pickens, guys who own a program, right? Like basically Thomas Castellanos talked a whole bunch of crap coming in and totally delivered. All right. I'm going to start my stock up with a little baseball. And I don't know why this completely just fascinated me, but let's go to the Red Sox and Trevor Story.
2-0, swinging a fly ball high down the right field line towards the pesky pole. Noel over, high stepping, he reaches over. Did he catch it? No. Noel held it aloft and said, I caught it. The first base umpire, Derek Thomas, said he didn't. Story's still standing on second, and no one knows what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on. It hit the pesky pole. Home run, baby. It hit the pole, which I've always been fascinated by. The weird shape of Fenway Park and what's a home run and what's not a home run. And trying to rob a home run over that little short right field fence, always been fascinated by. Trevor Story just happened to hit the right spot, hit the guy's glove. He trapped it against the pole a little bit. It's actually on that TV right there, Maggie. It was unbelievable play. And as somebody who's always fascinated with what's a home run and what's not, this was sort of everything in one.
This is catnip. Prof locked in every Red Sox game. All right, if the stock goes up, stock's got to go down. And for me, this is obvious. I mean, is anyone's stock lower than Bill Belichick right now? Good grief. I mean, you basically have him persona non grata in New England, which I'm shocked at how much people have turned on him.
Yeah, stay by day.
In Boston. So Kraft and that relationship blew up. Tom Brady literally is a statue outside of the stadium. Belichick then forced to go to college. It's embarrassing because his personal life is all over the news because he's dating a 24-year-old, so we're fascinated by this. And then he goes out last night and gets absolutely mollywopped. I mean, 48-14, TCU comes into Chapel Bill and just burned it to the ground. So I don't think that his stock has ever been lower. I don't know how he gets the stock back up.
Well, obviously he has to win football games. Can he do it, though?
I don't know. They're playing Clemson in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I know Clemson didn't look great either, but they will smoke North Carolina if the Tar Heels don't get their act together. So Belichick had a lot of expectations here, and I don't think those were wrong. He did win 6 Super Bowls in New England, and this was a major dud.
I mean, the comparison, right, is Deion Sanders came into Colorado and had this celebrity team. At least they won enough games to not thoroughly embarrass themselves. So maybe if he gets to 500, it's an easy schedule.
Get to 500? What are we talking about here? It's Bill Belichick. And by the way, we will get to Deion in a little bit. Okay, whose stock is down for you?
I'm going to go stock down Ryan Williams, the Alabama wide receiver. And stock down because I thought this guy was going to be like the truth, like a Heisman candidate and a top 10 pick. Now I just don't know. He's tiny. He's going to be in protocol after this week. And there's all these sort of speculation about his knee. So Ryan Williams was supposed to be like Jeremiah Smith right now. Jeremiah Smith didn't play well either at Ohio State, the superstar receiver, but I think he's going to turn around. I'm selling on Ryan Williams. I don't see him in the Heisman race. I don't see him necessarily as having an NFL kind of season this year. I think he's not even eligible for the draft. But remember how good he was in the first half of last year? Now I'm wondering, wait, was that all an illusion a bit?
I mean, the guy's still, what, is he even 20 yet? He's 20?
But he's small. And you saw it even on Saturday. Like, I don't know. Jeremiah Smith played badly. That, to me, is on the quarterback. Ryan Williams, I don't know that his star is going to shine as bright as we thought it did after his first half of his freshman year. Was one of the greatest I've ever seen. Like, nobody could beat guys long like him.
If the stock goes down, then the stock goes back up. That's the M&P 500. My stock up, got to give it to Carson Beck. I mean, nobody was feeling it more than him. I don't know how online he is, but by some of those Snapchats that got leaked, I think he's extremely online. He was a laughing stock. You know, it was kind of a punchline after how bad it was at Georgia last year, Pearl, all the turnovers. He goes to Miami, and they looked really good against Notre Dame. Miami looked like one of those teams that was not actually starting week 1. They looked like they actually had their you-know-what together. And Carson Beck looked very good. So for him, I'm happy for the guy because, again, he had this sort of hangdog sad. He got hurt at the end of the year. He got blamed for a lot at Georgia last year because he was a turnover machine. Good debut for him. They beat Notre Dame at home.
He looked okay. I mean, you take that one-hand catch away, then he's under 200 yards and 1 touchdown. Not exactly Cam Ward is all I'm saying.
Well, Notre Dame has a really good defense. So that was good competition that he was playing against. It wasn't, Little Sisters of the Poor. That
yeah, but I mean, listen, would you admit with me that was a very conservative approach by Miami?
Listen, it worked. And not only that, the receivers I thought for Miami are obviously really good. And Beck, it's just from
200 passing yards, and one of them was 30 yards on a one-handed Odell Beckham catch.
14 yards, relax.
But here's the thing. His stock was so low that I think if he had really had a terrible debut, then he's really starting to feel it. Instead, I think he's in the Heisman race. I was thinking about putting a little bet on Carson Beck. So
really?
He's my stock up.
I mean, there's 20 quarterbacks with better numbers. You're right. EJ keeps waiting the Notre Dame defense. We don't know that Notre Dame is Notre Dame this year yet.
I mean, they brought a lot of guys back on that defense. They have
lost a lot of guys too.
Yeah, but their secondary is supposed to be dominant, and there were moments where their secondary was really good. So I think Beck was patient. Besides the one-handed catch that he kind of threw the ball up there, he didn't make a lot of boneheaded mistakes or lollipop passes. I thought he was really efficient.
It's college football. The dude threw for 205 yards.
But every game is not going to be a 45-3 game, and you're not going to do that to Notre Dame. No one did that to Notre Dame last year. Even Ohio State's national championship performance was not a 50-point blowout.
I'm just saying, let's look at Sam Levitt. Let's look at John Mateer. Actually, it was going to be John Mateer, the Oklahoma quarterback.
Who did they play?
But they didn't play. The competition was very different. You got to wait it on that.
Well, you can wait it on that, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like I don't know what happened to spread offense in college football. Like, why? It used to seem so much easier like 5 years ago. Now every play is a battle. I'm just going to go with John Mateer because I think he's my favorite player. I know they didn't play anybody, but the Oklahoma quarterback who is going to be featured this week, game day, is going to be in Norman. I just love everything about watching this guy play. He's so fast. Listen, and the team they beat, let me see, what are they? IL State, I can't even remember, and I watched some of this. Are they Illinois State? Illinois State. Okay. I just want to make sure. Yeah, they're the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not strong.
Not the Arizona Cardinals.
They're not great. No, they're the Redbirds. They're the Redbirds. That's a Redbird. Sorry.
Scratch that. Not the Cardinals.
All right. So it wasn't the best competition, but that was 95% of college football this weekend was great teams just whooping like, oh, that program has a college football team. So I'm going John Mateer stock up.
My last stock down, I got to go to Dion. Dion, I'm glad to see him back on the sideline. Battled bladder cancer. He's cancer-free. You know, no shame. He's got the Porta-John right there on the sideline. Happy that he's healthy and he's back.
Cade is off the chain.
Dion's clock management and game management at the end of the Georgia Tech game was horrific. He and Pat Shurmur together. What are you guys doing? Pat Shurmur with the terrible play calls. You got a minute 7, right?
Yeah.
You need a score. You're taking the ball out at the 25. The first play call is like a lateral. The line of scrimmage, just terrible play calling. No timeouts. Dion ends the game. They had a minute to score. He ends the game with 2 timeouts, like in the back pocket. What are you doing, Prime?
Wait, when would you? I know they had a minute. What? Like a minute?
Like a minute 8, something
so
like that.
What happened was he said in the postgame, he said, I wasn't going to call it on the first play or the second play, and then everybody ran out of bounds on the next bunch of plays. So it was
30 seconds came off after the first play. Maybe he should have called it after the first.
But would you know with
down.
a minute 6 and you have to get 75 yards, would you have definitely called it the first play? Because I think you open yourself up to criticism there too. Because then you got to get the whole field with no timeouts.
No, well, you still had one more. He had 2 timeouts. And then the other part is why did you call a lateral play basically at the line of scrimmage on first down?
Thought he'd get a chunk.
I don't know.
I mean, listen, did that pass?
Go
they took one shot into the end zone, but
those were Hail Marys at the end. The desperation ones when he had 7-8 seconds left.
No, he took one before like 30. Did you really think that Caden Salter in that passing game was going to get up and down the field with the passing game in that situation?
I mean, help your quarterback, though, right?
Yeah, I thought that was a tall task. As somebody who thought Colorado was going to win that game, I immediately saw oh, okay, this is not Shedeur Sanders throwing to Travis Hunter.
So they kicked the ball off. They had 107, and then the first down play, a 2-yard pass, okay, 51 seconds. Then they don't do second down until 28 seconds left on the clock. You definitely have to call timeout there, considering the play they called.
I thought the first play they should have called a timeout. I'll be honest, watching the game.
Right, but at least that's debatable, right? Like you might not. I mean, I understand what Dion probably screwed that up, but if they'd been faster, you could see like save 2 timeouts, try and get downfield a little bit. But honestly, the way that game went, like it would, if Colorado drove down the field and scored, that would have been quite shocking because that offense did not look smooth. And by the way, I agree with you on the play calling on Pat Shurmur there at the end, but I don't think it is a drop-off. This is not about Shedeur. It's a drop-off at quarterback. And I like Caden Salter, but it definitely is not the same.
Stock down. Come on, Dion. All right, that's all I got. You got one more?
No, that's all. I mean, I was gonna rip Alabama again, but they just look soft. The thing about Texas, can we just get back to Texas for one sec before we get to Bogusch?
Sure.
That was at Ohio State, and Ohio State was amped to the hilt. They've been reading about Arch Manning for 4 months. Is it possible that game was the aberration?
They're the defending champs. I don't. They were.
No,
the
I mean like Texas.
champs.
I'm just saying like Texas is. Texas just ran into a house on fire, and Arch ran into a house on fire, and Quintrevion Wisner ran into a house on fire. Like, is it possible that you were mentioning Notre Dame defense? Is it possible Ohio State's defense is just going to be so awesome that maybe it gave us a really bad read on what Arch Manning was?
I mean, sure. Okay, but I was just really surprised that the fundamentals, the footwork, all that stuff looked so bad from Arch. I think that was, yes, definitely Matt Patricia and the Ohio State defense deserves a lot of credit. I also think Arch just was rattled by the moment. I do.
Yeah.
So I think it was It's like, I think Arch made Ohio State's defense look better than they even were.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I mean, it feels like Caleb Downs is like, can a safety win the Heisman? I mean, it'd be kind of crazy because he doesn't get a lot of interceptions. Like, he is amazing. I feel like there was totally confusing, nowhere to go. I think it's just going to get easier for Arch every week out.
Well, it's going to get easier because the next couple opponents are not nearly as good. But then let's see what happens against Georgia. Let's see what happens against Florida. He's going to have some more stiff competition.
If he can't beat Florida, then I'll agree with you.
Bogusch has the latest. What's up, Bogusch?
Guys, these headlines are sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, who protects small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Got to spread those out. As Manny knows, it's a long way from South Alabama's Hancock-Whitney Stadium to Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. Gio Lopez learned that lesson last night.
Lopez pressured, down to go, ball is loose, picked up by the Frogs, Devin Deal, scoop, and score, hit the horn. 37-yard sprint for Devin Deal after the ball was knocked loose from Lopez. And the Horned Frogs stretch the lead out now to 40-7.
Brian Estridge from Learfield, 21 points in the first 8:04 of the third quarter. The Horned Frogs led 41-7 after that defensive touchdown. They won 48-14. A laugher in Bill Belichick's college debut. Lopez had completed just 4 passes to teammates and 1 to TCU safety Bud Clark for a pick 6 before that sack and fumble. He did not return with a back injury. Whomever is healthy for Charlotte on Saturday better have their you-know-what together.
We just have to perform better as a unit, coach better, play better, work better on our fundamentals. There's no shortcut to it. We just got to work harder and do a better job. That's all there is to it.
Okay, I have a question. How long do you think Michael Jordan stayed around for that one?
I don't remember seeing him in the second half.
Mass exodus in the third quarter, about 5:59 left. That's about where I think he left.
Just back on the yacht or wherever he is?
Mm-hmm.
How does Michael Jordan get in and out of a stadium? I mean, is there a helicopter? Is there a helicopter right outside that we don't even see?
Probably walking, I would guess.
His legs.
No, he's definitely got a trap door. Or like one of those presidential things that just swing sideways. He can just walk behind a wall and just teleports him totally out of the stadium.
Did you guys see people on social media trying to figure out what Lawrence Taylor asked him that he was immediately like, no, and then LT had to make a joke about it?
You holding?
I mean, it could have been anything, but Jordan was like immediately and kind of vehemently like, no, and like turned away.
Can I borrow $20,000?
I mean, I'll be honest. I was a little surprised that like Jordan allowed LT to have that kind of proximity to him.
Agreed.
I was like, wow, we're doing that. Okay.
Well, it's kind of like the GOAT suite, if you will, right? Jordan, LT, Roy Williams. It was personal. Like the inner circle, the North Carolina inner circle, the inner circle. Yeah. LT gets into that.
And poor Roy Williams, because he was there was North Carolina basketball shrapnel after that opening drive. People were like, Roy's not going to see offense like that in the fall. I mean, they couldn't score again for hours.
Roy Williams is not here to save you at UNC.
No. By the way, TCU head coach Sonny Dykes said postgame they felt slighted with no one paying him any attention in the run-up to this game, and then his team scored the most points any opponent has on a Bill Belichick coach team. I'll give you one guess who had the previous high mark.
Wow, that's a great stat.
Maggie's Bills
scored
in the playoff game.
Scored 47 on the Patriots back in 2021.
The Mac Jones Patriots?
That was the Josh Allen perfect playoff game, right? Where he was perfect on the...
That I couldn't confirm.
Go Bills.
But
it definitely was.
That was one of my favorite Patriot losses. It wasn't even a Jet game. Still one of my favorite Patriot losses.
Ooh, you should have been in the Super Bowl. Those were fun Patriot losses.
Yeah, they were.
Those were fun too. I like those. I like those as well.
Yeah, that playoff run for the Bills started really great.
I just
13 seconds.
Like the concept of like Bill Belichick team just getting like proverbially pantsed on national TV. I couldn't get behind this one.
This is a bunch of college kids. That's why.
It was a bunch of college kids, and also like this isn't like Alabama or like LSU or Texas. He's coaching. Like he's coaching North Carolina. Part of me was like, oh, those poor kids. I just couldn't do it. I was so totally ready to hate watch and get behind TCU blowing these guys out. And as I got bad, I was like, this is just kind of like embarrassing.
Kind of sad, yeah.
Sad.
I was feeling that way too.
Guys.
When they went to Jordan Hudson and Randy Moss after the first touchdown, I was easily hate watching. I had no problem. The rest of the game.
What is Dare talking about?
I'll be honest, I kind of thought that was strategic, to be honest. Not to like be Mr. PR, but putting Jordan next to Randy, considering his battle with cancer, like, you know, I think that was trying to ease the edge off of whatever grossness you may feel about seeing Jordan Hudson next to another LT, for example, something like that.
Yeah, that would be a little weird, and it's great that Randy is back and healthy, but there's another thing you could do, which is you don't have to get caught on camera. There's places you can sit where you know you're not going to be on camera. Like Jordan Hudson didn't have to get any airtime last night if she didn't want to.
Yeah,
but she
that's
wants
a great point. Of course she does. And that makes it all the more embarrassing and easy to root against North Carolina. The other thing, too, I mean, like, it's
she's
not like
a kid, too.
We never rooted. I think maybe EJ said this earlier. Nobody ever rooted for or against North Carolina. There's no neutral North Carolina. It's not like you grew up in L.A. and be like, I'm going to be a big North Carolina Tar Heels football fan. That has never happened, although the uniforms are sick.
Beautiful.
I agree with that.
All right, let's get this out of the way. Nobody needed this yesterday.
Swung on, hit on the ground, into right field for a base hit. Here comes Stubbs. The throw's going to go to third. The Phillies will take the lead on an RBI single by Brandon Marsh, his fourth of the game.
Brewer fans not just booing Brandon Marsh's tie-breaking RBI single top knot in Milwaukee, they were also upset that a check swing by Phillies catcher JT Realmuto was not called strike three, which helped the Phils build this rally. Brewers manager Pat Murphy got tossed for arguing.
It was just a big moment. Again, check swings, if you stop, they probably always go further than you think, if you stop the footage and the video. But, I mean, his barrel was out in front of his front leg. Tell me how the barrel can get in front of your front leg and that not be a swing.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I don't think he swung.
Just away.
He did, Murphy, add that the missed call did not have to lead to the Phillies scoring the 2 runs. They did top 9. They win this game 10-8. They are now 4.5 games behind Milwaukee for the best record in the NL. And Matthew Stafford came up last hour. Sean McVay said yesterday the Rams still expect their QB to be fine for their opener this weekend. Stafford continues to practice without limitations after returning from his back issue.
Let's go, y'all.
Back to you guys.
Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, more from the college football weekend that was. Who had the best and worst performances? Plus, a story we have to bring you that was unbelievable. Just bananas. Wild stuff. The things that really, really matter. And we also will get to the Dallas Cowboys, the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break.
It was just so much better just to keep hanging around the house.
Yeah, you guys mind. All right. All righty. 3, 2, 1. All right. Trying to great trade. This is Andrew.
Ruber showed up with a racket in hand, talking like he's finally the man with the plan. Said this year's mine, been training all fall. Daly just laughed and sweated it all. First serves in and the crowd leans in. By the first few games, it's looking like a sin. Rube swinging wild, chasing every ball, but Daly's got answers for them all. Rube just can't be Daly, it's the same old song. Every forehand's fired, every backhand's strong. The score's lopsided, the outcome's clear, and Peter Bellotti still ain't here. Yeah. While Rubu's out there losing in the heat, Gubs Gubs on the mic, Perloff symmetry. Filling in smooth, keeping fans on the line. Taking that show and making it shine. But back on the court, it's another route. Daly's running Rube in and out. It's 6 love quick, no mercy shown. Rube is already wishing he stayed at home. Rube just can't be dead, it's the same old song. Every forehand's fire, every backhand strong. The score's lopsided, the outcome's clear. And Peter Bellotti still ain't here. While Rubu's out there losing in the heat, Gubs on the mic, Perloff symmetry. Filling in smooth, keeping fans on the line. Taking that show and making it shine. But back on the court, it's another route. Daly's running Rube in and out. It's 6 love quick, no mercy shown. Rubu's already wishing he stayed at home. Rube just can't be steady, it's a losing streak. Doesn't matter if it's here or week. Jumps running hot, Perloff's nowhere near. And Peter Bellotti still ain't here. No smile, no cheer. Daly just grinned. See you next year.
One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy.
Maggie Perloff reacting to a very big college football weekend and a lot to take away. So, Pearl, I'll ask you if you're a believer.
Yeah.
And we got a couple programs from the weekend who had very notable debuts. And I'll ask, do you think this team can win the national championship? You ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with, listen, credit to Brian Kelly. They said they could not drop this opener. They have to go into the other Death Valley, and they looked very good. Can LSU, after they beat Clemson in the opener, can they win the national title?
Absolutely. What's the stat on what year everybody does it at LSU? Is it third year?
Mm-hmm. Third or fourth.
Les
depending.
Miles,
Yeah.
Nick Saban, Ed Orgeron. Now, Brian Kelly is a great. Yeah, they 100% can. I was a little worried. There was a rumor about Garrett Nussmeier's chronic tendonitis. Oh, my God. Did he look good in that second half? LSU's got all the tools, and Harold Perkins is back, baby. Yeah, they're an absolute for me. How about you?
I think yes. At one point, Garrett Nussmeier even got really hit hard in that game, and his foot got stepped on, which they never mentioned in the broadcast. They're like, he's limping around. I'm like, yeah, didn't you guys see the offensive lineman just backed up and probably broke his foot or his toes? A couple of them. It looked really painful. Huge test for LSU that I thought they passed with flying colors. They were, really hampered last year by running quarterbacks. I think the defense is clearly, has the assignment. You're right about Perkins. He looked a lot better. So, yes, I think that LSU can win the whole thing. What about Florida State, FSU, after the big win over Alabama?
I hate to do this, Maggie. I'm going to be heightist. I just don't see Thomas Castellanos getting all the way through the playoff.
Because he's too short?
Yeah.
You're a heightist?
I'm a heightist. I don't know. I saw him, sometimes there are games, remember, the against Florida State, ironically, where he's just a superhero, and it all works, and it all is amazing. And then, at BC, and then it kind of came down to earth like a week or two later. So I just don't see them being consistent enough to get all the way through. They could make the playoff for sure. Can he lead them to a title? I'm dubious.
I think Florida State can absolutely win the national title. This is a huge test. And to me, it was actually not just the offense, and it looked good. Gus Malzahn has had Alabama's number at times, even when he was the Auburn head coach. But, Pearl, the defense looked really good. And I'm looking at the ACC. It's EJ's Miami Hurricanes, October 4th. That's going to be massive. They play Clemson November 8th. They obviously finished the season against Florida, so we'll see how that goes. If they are a playoff team, they are a national championship contender without a doubt. I was super impressed because I think the defense is good enough.
Okay, but you're not saying every college football playoff team is a national title contender.
No, I'm saying if FSU is in the playoff, they are a national title contender. I don't believe that every team that gets in is not yet. But I'm 100% believer in Florida State. They needed this, and I think they're going to have this chip on their shoulder all season long. This was not just a get up for Alabama game.
Okay,
next. Can they win the title? University of Miami.
I'm going to go no. I think they lose in the Final Four. I've already plotted it out in my mind.
Oh, so they make the playoff.
Oh, they're already in the playoff, by the way.
Big win
do not have
Notre
enough. With the win over Notre Dame, they can afford 2 losses. So, and there is not 2 losses on their schedule. Incredibly impressed by them. I see them falling to a Big Ten team in the Final Four. Sorry, EJ. This is an anti-ACC bias. I think they're really good. Also, too, I did not see Carson Beck be as consistently awesome as you guys did. The first touchdown where he stepped to the side of the guy, that was really, really cool. But then the next one, and this might be a function of Notre Dame, it just didn't feel like the passing offense was as fluid. The Odell Beckham kind of one-hand grab, amazing. I just thought that he was good, but he's going to have to be great to get through all the way to the title. And I'm not there yet.
I like Miami. Miami won me money over the weekend, so thank you, Miami.
Nice.
But I do not think they are a national championship contender. And EJ, I'm curious if you'll share this thought with me. Yesterday was, or what was it, yesterday? 2 days ago, was fine with Mario Cristobal and his game management, okay? But I don't trust that guy. I still don't trust him. They can recruit with the best. They've got the money to burn. They've got a lot of talent. I don't trust Mario Cristobal when it comes to actually winning. He, to me, still has a lot to prove. So, therefore, I do not think Miami can win the national title. Am I right or wrong?
I mean, even in that game, some of the play calling towards the end, it felt like Mario
sitting on the lead.
Yeah, he really shackled Shannon Dawson, who I thought was calling a great game when they got up 21-7. And it was all right, just don't blow this thing. And Notre Dame came coming back. So I totally understand the questions about Mario Cristobal. He still scares me. But the guy can recruit.
But by the way, I think Miami's better than Florida State.
I think so too, but I mean, Florida State opened my eyes a little bit. I can't wait for week 6.
I just felt like Miami they physically blew Notre Dame out of the water. Like that looked like a varsity versus JV in the trenches. So that's why I feel like Miami's a lot more dangerous. I don't have Florida State going to the Final Four. I have Miami going to the Final Four.
That's the one thing about Miami I think you can believe in for Mario Cristobal. He will always be strong in the trenches, both offensive and defensive line.
But what, last year was the defensive line good, or was that historically bad defense?
There's some injuries on the defensive line, so that's the problem. The secondary is more the problem. Offensive line, though, was great last year, and they looked again great on Sunday.
Last one. Can this team win the title? Maybe I'll flip it a little. Is it their title to lose? Ohio State.
Well, I wouldn't say it's their title to lose because Julian Sayin was iffy. But, yeah, they definitely can win the title. It's amazing. They have the best wide receiver, too. They remind me of Cincinnati Bengals. Cardell Tate is T. Higgins to Jeremiah Smith, Jamar Chase. I do worry. And then there's Brandon Inniss, who's also really good. I think they just are a big physical team. And that defense, who are those guys? Again, they lost 8 starters, and they were flying around. I guess we'll find out over time if that's because Arch and the Texas offense was bad or because that defense was so good. But I tend to believe that they were so good. That's a definite yes for me. How about you?
Yes. Obviously. I think Julian Sayin is going to get a lot better. I was less discouraged by what he did and more about what Arch was doing, because I knew that they were going to say, all right, Julian Sayin, you've never started a game, so why don't you just be really conservative here, and we're just going to make sure you don't lose us the game. I did not think that was going to be the case for Arch. Arch's been in the program for a long time, for 2 years already. I was expecting a lot more from that Sark offense. So I'm not as worried about Julian Sayin. What about Texas? Did you write them off in the title conversation?
No, I mean, Texas should have won that game. They outgained them by almost 200 yards. I was actually somewhat impressed by elements of Texas. The fact that their defense was legit. There's no doubt about that. So Texas, listen, that loss might hurt them when the College Football Playoff Committee makes their decision. But I feel like Texas definitely walks away from that and be like, okay, there's something growing. It was on the road. You got to remember that. They didn't have a preseason because it's college football. So I'm not dead on them. How about you? Are you kind of out on Texas a little bit?
I'm losing faith in Sark. I am. I mean, you may have had the more talented team. I know you're on the road.
Made Final Four the last 2 years.
Can't beat Ryan Day. 888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. Coming up, switch our attention to the NFL. Micah Parsons is in Green Bay. What did his former Dallas teammates have to say?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Lopez throws left. It is picked off at the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Bud Clark. Career interception number 12 for Clark. Comes up with a pick there. Read it perfectly. Baited him into it. And a score here for Bud. And the Horned Frogs go up 16-7.
It's a great environment tonight. I mean, fans were awesome. It's great energy in the stadium. We just didn't do enough to keep it going. And we got to play better for the energy to sustain.
Well, thank you to Brian Estridge on Learfield for the highlight, a low light for Chapel Bill, as you heard from Belichick. The atmosphere was awesome. Michael Jordan in the house, Lawrence Taylor, Roy Williams, all the North Carolina luminaries, all to watch Bill lay a big egg. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. 48-14, Pearl. That's the final score. TCU took it to the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I mean, how much of this is on Bill Belichick?
A lot. All of it.
But how so? Because, it's a question of talent, too. Like the Joes versus, what's the expression?
Jimmy's and Joes versus X's and O's?
Yeah, I mean, was he going to be able to scheme his way into a win here against that experienced TCU team?
Okay, listen, all credit to TCU. He wasn't playing Ohio State yesterday or whatever.
But this wasn't an X's and O's loss. This was, this team, is not nearly as good as TCU.
That is fair, but you would think, and no disrespect to Sonny Dykes, but Bill Belichick may be considered one of the greatest football coaches ever of all time, period. Right. So it's not just losing, it's losing 48-14. There's the blowout aspect of this also plays into it. And if I'm Bill Belichick, I may be wondering oh man, I know he's not worried about this, but from a global perspective, what has happened to Bill Belichick's legacy? He is persona non grata, basically, in New England. They do not want him around. Tom Brady got the statue in front of the stadium. Bill Belichick is never getting a statue. The Krafts and Belichick are at all-out war with each other. They will take every opportunity to snipe each other in the press. It has just ended so poorly up there for Bill. Then add on top of it, he's got the young girlfriend who's making missteps left and right that's coming back and boomeranging back on him. And now at least you thought the football field, okay, the football field and the games is where we're actually going to be able to see the magic of Belichick again. Remind everybody, no, he's not a punchline and a laughingstock. This is actually a phenomenal coach who deserves all of our respect, and they got blown out.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't even know if you had Bill Walsh combined with Bill Belichick combined with Andy Reid, if you're going to make that North Carolina team beat TCU. You have to admit, Bill Belichick said it very clearly before the game. He's like, I don't know what we have in this team. Everybody's new. They're not the greatest talent. I mean, Gio Lopez, their quarterback, he's like a 3-star quarterback. I mean, he's for South Alabama, right? It's not like they have the greatest players all around there. So could you just say maybe this team is not that good? Honestly, part of me was wondering, like, what did our friend Mike Lombardi do as GM of this team? Like the players don't look great, and it's very risky when you come into a program and you're building a new team on the fly, especially with a lack of experience with these guys. You know, for example, Sonny Dykes, like he has been following these high school kids since they were in 9th grade. Like, I don't know if this North Carolina staff was really going to be able to build a winner immediately. I wonder if there was a lot of natural disadvantages from the situation.
Okay, Pearl, not build a winner, not get beat by 34 points on your home field against a team from the Big 12. And here's my other thing about, I'm not letting Bill off the hook on this one. It was supposed to be a positive that he was out there on the recruiting trail. This is, hey, Bill Belichick walks into your living room, not just the star power of it, but also, hey, Bill knows what it's like to manage a salary cap. Bill has done this before. The professionalization of college football, that's going to play right into Belichick's wheelhouse because he's had to make tough decisions. He knows how to do this. They called themselves the 33rd NFL team. And so you can't lose 48-14 to TCU, who's not calling themselves the 33rd NFL team. TCU came in with just a legit chip on their shoulder, right? They came in 2 years ago. They lost to Deion in his debut after they beat Michigan in the Final Four, lost in the championship game to Georgia. Then they lose to Deion. They did not want to be fodder again for some famous coach. And to their credit, they were amazing. After that first drive where North Carolina scored and I declared that Bill Belichick made the NFL look silly, then I looked silly because Bill fell flat. And, you know, to me, it's like when you are this great strategist, and I understand what you're saying, you need the players, but there was no evidence that this North Carolina team even looked like a Bill Belichick coached football team. There were no.
Well, the first drive was
the first drive was awesome.
The first drive did, but yeah.
But then,
so in your mind, what was missing? I just felt like, oh man, these guys are getting bullied physically, and I'm not sure Belichick could have done anything about that.
Possibly not, but you know, Belichick was always about. I know the NFL is different because everyone's just closer in talent, but always about being the smartest team, the one that's the disciplined team, the one that's coming up with creative things on all three phases, you know, and just having that little special sauce. And there was just nothing special about last night. Well, the only special thing, was Max Johnson coming back from a really devastating injury to be the backup, and maybe he even has the starting job now.
I mean, listen, there's nothing you could do strategically when the punter can't catch the ball. I mean, that play ended up okay, but there was honestly, like, I think this TCU team would have beaten North Carolina with any coach yesterday because North Carolina was bad last year. TCU is in a little bit of a cycle where they were in the national championship game, a couple down years, but maybe they're back. If TCU goes on to have a great year, I keep doing this around the whole college football landscape. If they go on to have a great year, it will prove like, oh, okay, you know, North Carolina is a young team trying to figure themselves out, and they played what now is a juggernaut. Then I think it will look okay. So let's give Bill a couple weeks. I hope he has some chippies on here. Who's his next opponent?
Charlotte.
Charlotte ain't good this year.
Everyone just a collective shrug. Okay, this is the other part about the Belichick thing, and they were dominated last night by TCU. How much time do we think Belichick is going to be in North Carolina? Like, I saw a lot of this. Like, he's got to build something, guys. He's got to build the program. You mentioned before, he's 73.
Yeah.
And also, wasn't Bill, in my mind, he's 14 wins shy of Don Shula's all-time record NFL, wins. To me, this was always a play to get back to the NFL. Now, maybe that's bad job by me, right? And I just so associate Bill Belichick with obviously being an NFL head coach. But I thought it was, all right, coach well at North Carolina, an NFL team realizes they made a mistake, bring Belichick back, and obviously he's going to break down Shula's record. I think all of that is completely up in the air. It seems like I seem delusional for thinking that Belichick was going to make an immediate impact.
Well, there was that rumor that he was worried that Andy Reid was going to pass it anyway and pass him. So he's like, why am I even going to kill myself to try to get this record? And so he's 72. Our buddy Andy Staples of On3, 73, said that he gives it 2 years. And that rings true. Because,
Are we sure we're getting 2? No.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, is he really doesn't. They have never played. This team has never played together in a stadium with lights and players going against another team.
And Michael Jordan looking down.
Well, it doesn't matter. They haven't even played. Again, this is their first game ever as a group. This is Bill Belichick's first college football game. So I'm going to give him a little more of a break than you because I think I had lower expectations than you. I mean, nobody had North Carolina in their college football playoff. It would have been a stretch. They do have a bit of an easy schedule, so it would have been possible. But I don't think this is a team who people thought, like, we were talking about Texas and Ohio State earlier. Like, we're talking massive expectations. I think everyone would have been pleasantly surprised by 9-3 or something like that. Like, there wasn't like college football playoff or bust. So he does have a chance to get at least around 500 and save some of his legacy here, at least his immediate legacy. I think in the long run, 20 years from now, people aren't going to remember this. But it sure be a lot better if he had a winning record.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Let us know how you feel about watching Bill Belichick. A lot of people love this. The Schadenfreude was high over the weekend. Is that how it's measured? You're raising
me too.
Your hand.
Oh, kidding. The second all those superstars came out and there was the shots, and I'm like, oh man, I hope they just get crushed. I'm sorry, it's not even anti-Belichick. I respect Bill Belichick as an NFL coach, but the people who think that this was going to be instant success, it's disrespectful to college football and everything that these other programs do. To think that Belichick's going to come in there with some NFL mentality and reinvent the wheel? No way.
You know what's weird, too, about this whole thing is it feels like the Belichick at Carolina experiment has been so anti-Patriots way. Like, that looked more like Colorado and Dion, right? Like all these stars.
Yes.
All the pageantry. Bill Belichick doing an interview before a game, before he walks out of the tunnel. I don't know if I've ever seen him do that. Like he did one with Holly Rowe. Like he's normally get out of my way, pushing cameramen out of the way, coming out of the tunnel in Detroit. Remember that famous image? Yep. Like everything looks different. He's doing these sit downs with Reese Davis. Is this a lot of, and Michael Lombardi is doing a lot of talking about what they were going to build and why this is going to be a much more premier program compared to other college programs because they are the 33rd NFL team. This doesn't feel anything like the Patriots way. Distractions with Jordan Hudson, all the glitz and glamour. I wonder if Belichick in this loss is actually going to change a lot of things almost immediately. I wonder if you see less media contact. I wonder if you see more closed off stuff. He's been different since he got to Carolina.
Okay, but EJ, they have a Hulu series in the works. There's cameras following them their every move.
What's different about now and then?
Jordan.
I was just saying, go ahead, EJ. Just you're saying it. Just blame Jordan Hudson.
I mean, it is interesting. She's around and she has done in many ways. I think I don't want to say good job, but she's gotten them a lot of attention. Let's say that. Like that.
If that's the goal.
If that's the goal, that's definitely a thing that she has done well.
And she got a lot of attention for herself.
And yes, she's got a lot of attention for herself. But it doesn't feel right. It feels like Rocky 3 when Clubber Lang is working out with the rats in the basement of a gym and Rocky's, playing patty cake and doing, photo shoots. This doesn't feel like the Belichick I know, the hoodie, the evil empire stuff. None of that is there right now.
That's a great analogy, except that Belichick looks more like Mickey than Rocky.
All right, let us know. 888-710-4ISN. Is Bill Belichick...
touch him. I'm going to crucify him real bad.
Has Belichick lost his way? No, there's no mystique.
By the way,
the Patriots are always built on the mystique. Like, do they have the locker room bugged? How did they find an edge?
Yeah. No, if somehow they come back this year and win the whole thing, then we're just doing the whole Rocky 3 North Carolina thing. Because Rocky, eventually he's running on the beach with Apollo Creed. It starts out slow, and then he starts sprinting, and maybe I think EJ should go down and give a pep talk to North Carolina next week.
Why? He roots for a totally different ACC
in the same
team.
Conference, yeah.
Not playing each other this year, though.
I wish we were now. After watching them yesterday, I was like, oof, that was a W.
Actually, I'm sorry because there's been a lot of this energy. Like, I don't mean to call you out for a bad take, Maggie.
Yeah, that's fine. The whole internet's already done it.
Yeah. Well, the jumping on Belichick after one drive. But do you feel down on SEC, who you had, I think, with it,
I
6
did.
teams?
I had 6
teams. Now, because I feel like the ACC is peeking their nose in there and going to get a bunch of bids, too.
Yeah, I was impressed with the ACC. Well, Miami I was impressed with. And FSU... Clemson not really.
No, but I don't think they shot themselves in the foot too badly here. They still have a great chance. There's no way they're out of it.
Well, Cade Klubnik's got to play a lot better. I mean, he probably cost himself the Heisman in that opening week. I don't know how he has a chance for that. I don't know if he's the number one overall pick in the NFL draft or any of that stuff.
That's true. But, I mean, he was never profiled like a Heisman Trophy winner. Even Trevor Lawrence didn't win the Heisman. So.
I know. But here's the weird thing about Clemson, and now we're just talking about ACC stuff. But, you know, the big thing about Clemson was they have all these guys returning, right? This was it. Yeah. Like the wide receivers, and they have this like incredible depth. Like they have stars, and they're all back. And you know, look at what happens when good teams and big time teams retain a lot of their roster. And this has been a formula that Michigan used and Ohio State used. I didn't see any of that in the opener. It didn't look to me like they had any leg up on anything. And maybe LSU is awesome, and maybe LSU is winning the title this year. I don't know, but Clemson to me didn't look like. If their superpower was, we've got all this returning experience, I didn't see that on display.
Well, I mean, it was a very close game. There are moments that game could have probably gone either way.
Oh, but come on. I mean, it even shouldn't have been. LSU got completely hosed out of a touchdown. That was an unbelievable. I'm like, is this just blatant outright corruption? Like, I was thinking that. I'm like, Clemson has a home game, and they just literally wiped a touchdown off the field that I still don't even understand the explanation for how LSU got hosed out of that touchdown. It didn't matter, but
the ball definitely moved it. I mean, it was like 8 seconds later. I mean, they were already mid-celebration. But first of all, that was one of 37 discussions about what was a catch. That dominated the weekend. What was a catch was everywhere. How many touchdowns were pulled back? Anyway, Clemson's schedule: Troy, at Georgia Tech, Syracuse, UNC now looks like a W, BC. So, and they host SMU. They host Florida State. They could do some damage in the SEC, in the ACC. Last year they made it, and they should be better than last year. So I don't think this ends up at all. Then you got SMU, Miami, and Florida State now seemingly looking like contenders. You could really, the ACC could dig into the SEC bids really easily here.
Sorry, I was going to say is the only thing about Clemson I think that I would give them a little bit of pass on is they didn't have Antonio Williams basically for the entire game.
That's true. He did get knocked out.
He's their top receiver, and he's the leader of the team, and then he goes out, and it seemed like whatever their offensive game plan was, they were going to plan B or C. It seemed like once that happened, everything was kind of scattered, and Cade never looked very comfortable. So if he can come back healthy, I know it's a soft tissue injury, hamstring, so you never know how those things go, but if he comes back strong, maybe this Clemson team second half of the year looks a lot different.
But if we sat here in the first month of the season last year and said Clemson was going to make the playoff last year, everybody would have laughed.
Yeah,
that's true.
So it's a long season. I think we have to be really careful. I think a lot of things are going to change after week one. I think week one is basically fancy preseason in college football.
Well, unfortunately for Bill Belichick, I don't think they're going to change enough to write that because no one is going to forget that dud of an opener for very long.
He's like, I thought it was the NFL. I didn't play my starters. I thought this was preseason. Maybe he was confused with the rhythm of college football season.
They gave out depth charts last night in the press box, and North Carolina's was blank. See, that kind of stuff, when it was Belichick and he was at the top of his game, you're like, that Belichick. He's just playing 3D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Now it's like, man, does he really not know? Who's better than who?
How would he?
Is the depth chart even set with 70 transfers?
And again, it's 70 transfers on a school that has one double-digit win season in 30 years. So it's North Carolina football here. I think even I did too. We talked ourselves into thinking that Bill Belichick could be an immediate miracle worker, and it didn't happen.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Was there something, I don't know, delightful about watching Bill Belichick get smacked around a little bit last night, or was it a little bit sad? Did you enjoy watching him lose?
Poll question?
Love it.
That's a 97-3 poll question. Unless Jordan Hudson is on the internet right now voting, nobody felt sad about that.
Oh, she's on the internet. Make no
she
mistake.
Might be.
She's very extremely online. All right, you're welcome to weigh in on Belichick. Coming up, we will turn our attention more college football. Don't worry. All the college football you can handle, and a little from the NFL, including Micah Parsons. What is really going on with his back? We all thought this was just some kind of fake injury.
Negotiating ploy.
Turns out, an epidural later, not the case. Maggie Perloff Show.
Day by day.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time to go. I have to go to class.
Why don't you call me sometime when you
have no class.
Let's find out who made the grade after this weekend's college football action.
He is totally gonna kill at college.
What, like it's hard?
As of this moment, they're on double secret probation.
Maggie and Perloff hand out their college report card.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Oh, my gosh. Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. I love that open so much. It's 4 of my favorite movies of all time. Animal House, Legally Blonde, Back to School. Was there another one in there? Actually, I said 4.
Legally Blonde's one of your 4 favorite movies of
Legally
all time?
Blonde is a masterpiece.
Okay.
Legally Blonde is
it is great.
4 comedies. Yeah, oh, it's great. Was there maybe Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield? I don't think anyone. It's an old movie, but it's so dumb and so wonderful in every possible way. He's like a 70-something-year-old guy who becomes the NCAA diving champion. He's at the Triple Lindy. Oh, it's perfect.
Where does DWP rank among those?
No,
movies?
DWP's on the same conversation with Legally Blonde. Bring It On is another classic that you'd be surprised that I love. But Legally Blonde's a legit funny movie.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. It's good
Legally,
movie.
you probably like Legally Blonde 2 more when Elle goes to Washington, D.C. because you're more of a comedy sequel fan.
I am. You want to know shocking? Never seen it.
Yeah, you and everybody else. Trust me, you do not need to see that.
I've seen Revenge of the Nerds 2 16 times, but Legally Blonde 2, and it, by the way, does not hold up.
Revenge of the Nerds 2, the only one with negative stars on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that squares.
Okay. What was this segment originally about again?
It's just funny to even talk about grades. But yes, we are going to grade some of these college performers from the weekend. EJ's going to give us a player or coach. We'll tell you what the grade is for the week. Go ahead, EJ.
All right, let's start with Texas quarterback Arch Manning. What grade are you giving him for his season debut?
An E.
He got a D plus. All right, I'll be nice and say a D plus. Listen, it was a lot of the hype is not Arch's fault, but Arch looked very timid. He looked indecisive. He looked inaccurate. His footwork, the fundamentals were completely off. Does he get a D for his whole college career? No, but for this week against Ohio State, he got a D. D plus. What is it? D plus?
Yeah. I've been defending Arch all show, but I can't give him more than a D plus. I heard I was actually spent time with my father-in-law as a professor, and he told me the trend in college is everyone gets A's, and jobs don't even look at your GPA because it's such a joke now in college. So he'd probably get an A for that. But I'll say one thing to defend him. He looked way better in the second half than the first half. Here's where he's killing Sark's offense. Those little crossing routes. Is he not good at 5-yard passes?
No.
Right.
Well,
but I don't think last year
day.
he struggled in his 2 games against that. Like, he needs to hit his short passes. I'm like, is this guy Anthony Richardson in the pro version? Like, he could just chuck it downfield, but he can't. He wasn't good downfield either, but there was nobody open.
No, through the first 3 quarters, he was 0 for 5 on passes of just 5 yards or more. I mean, he was
0 for 5
behind.
to who? Every single person was completely covered. He tried to throw a long shot, and a guy was glued to 2 defenders. There was nothing there. But he did hit that long shot at the end, and then he had about 3 throws in the fourth quarter. I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, he had 3 throws that accounted for 65 of his 170 yards in the last quarter.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't. It's those short passes that really killed him, the crossers. And I guess his feet were pointing the exact wrong way, and why he was throwing sidearm, no one seemed to know. But by the way, those sidearm passes start to work. They look sweet.
Well, he's not Patrick Mahomes, so might just want to go back to the regular overhand stuff. I think you got to give him a D. Yeah, D plus, Arch Manning. All right, what's next, DJ?
All right, let's go to Dabo Swinney. His number 4 ranked Clemson Tigers lose their opener to LSU at home. What grade are you giving Dabo?
I mean, can we get some good guys in here? That's a D, too. I mean, Dabo did not have them.
I think you got to give him a D.
I thought, they were on the bus and then they touched the rock. I thought like the energy and the fire was just going to continue throughout the pregame into the game like it did at Florida State. Like, what happened to pregame rituals firing up the team? Clemson came out kind of flat, and then Cade Klubnik just looked lost, and I'm going to put that on the coaching staff to some extent. I think LSU's defense just was much better coached, much better prepared. Clemson, flat is the word that comes to mind.
100%. LSU wanted this more. They were better prepared. I'm going to give Dabo Swinney F on this one. You're home. LSU can't win a season opener to save their lives. They're treating this like this is their Super Bowl, and you didn't match it. I mean, you've got there's no excuses. I know one of their wide receivers got hurt early in the game. That's fine. But you also, and it's not fine. It stinks for him. But the fact that you can't pivot, I'm telling you what, I'm looking at Garrett Riley. I'm like, you are no Lincoln Riley, and people want Lincoln Riley out at USC. It's just you're not getting the best version of this offense when you have plenty of returning star power. So F for Dabo in the debut.
All right, let's go back to Columbus. How about quarterback Julian Sain, who won his first start for the Buckeyes?
I'm going to give him a B+. I know that he didn't look amazing, but this was legitimately his first start. And so I think they were asking him, just don't mess it up. Couple drops. I thought there was a lot to build on there. I thought the ball looked good coming out of his hands. I didn't see a disaster from the quarterback. To me, B+.
I'll go B-. B-. I am a little worried about him as the season goes on. Yeah, I like the way it came out of his hand too. But is he going to be good enough to match the talent around him all season? So
he was putting the ball right on Jeremiah Smith's hands, and he was dropping it.
Yeah, I mean, do you trust him? They won 14-7 here, but what if they got in a shootout later in the season? Are you sure Julian Sain could throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns? I don't know. Do you know that he could stand up to Michigan's defense? That's the one that really has me particularly worried. I think this is a major TBD. I think long term, he's he looks like a big, strong kid. He looks like he's a future pro. All that, I am worried about him this year. I'm not sure. I think if I was going to look at a weak spot on that Ohio State roster, at least a spot we don't know about, it'd definitely be quarterback.
All right, let's head down to South Florida. How about Notre Dame quarterback C.J. Carr, who's also making his first start?
That dude was good. Sorry, is good a grade?
Sure.
It's not a pass-fail, Pearl. You got to give him a letter.
I'm going to give him a A-. That play where he dropped back, the touchdown, not a lot of guys can do that. He pivoted about 3 times to avoid the rush and then found an open guy. He's just got a presence about him. I was really impressed. Actually, early in the game, I thought, oh, man, they should not have gone. How did this guy win the job? They clearly didn't want to go with him. Then he really rebounded. Looks like the full package at quarterback.
I was gonna give him a B for the game, and I think an A for the outlook.
That's a good way to put it.
As far as the poise that he showed and trying to bring the Fighting Irish back in this game. Listen, Miami's defense was smothering. I thought they were really, really good, ferocious, fast.
Well, I thought they kind of loaded up for the run a little bit. So I think that's when they turned to Carr and said, like, hey, you gotta step up here. They're trying to stop our run. Because I don't know what Julian
Jeremiah Love was a non-factor.
Yeah, but then he kind of picked up a little bit. It was a seesaw thing. I think Carr, like Notre Dame's going to be there again. Like this, how did you look at Notre Dame? Like, was this a death knell in any way or anything like that's going to last?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. So for Carr, I'm saying B. But as far as Notre Dame, like overall, because of the 12-team college football playoff and when it becomes 14 or 28 or 26 or 68 or whatever, Notre Dame has an easier path to make it than almost anybody, right? Because of their brand, their schedule, and at-large bids are always going to be a factor. So Notre Dame basically gets a red carpet into the playoff. And to me, of all the teams, the big teams, the ranked teams that lost over the weekend, Pearl, I actually felt the best about Notre Dame. I felt better about Notre Dame than I did about Clemson. I feel better about Notre Dame than I do about Alabama. I feel better about Notre Dame than I even do about Texas. So I still think that they have, because of the path, the combination of the path, the returners, I do believe in Marcus Freeman. I just think that they still have a really, really bright season in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, they only have one game left. They have A&M coming to Notre Dame next week, and I didn't think, like, Marcel Reed, the quarterback at A&M, looked a little off. So I think Notre Dame wins that game. Then it's Purdue, Arkansas, Boise, who struggled, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Stanford. It should be. I guess the question is, who's going to be their impressive win? Because they didn't get it here against Miami. A&M would be their only ranked win. So maybe the committee, if they have one loss, if they run the table on this, they're fine, right? But what if they have 2 losses, Maggie? Then their most impressive win would be.
We'll see what USC does, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, it's an interesting question about how much does a committee put into scheduling.
Well, the ACC also looks like they're maybe going to be a lot better.
But they, as second year in a row, they draw all the easy ACC teams. Where's Clemson? Where's SMU?
Fair. All right, there you go. A little college football report card. We will get to the NFL. We promise. We keep teasing it. Keep getting sidetracked because of so much college football over the weekend. Bugs, what do you have for us?
Guys, Michael Jordan and Lawrence Taylor and Jordan Hudson and Maggie will always have those first 4 minutes last night.
Lopez in the pistol with Hood behind him. He will hand to him. Hood right side. Slithers through and powers home. Touchdown, Carolina. What a start for Belichick in the heel.
Jones Angel from Learfield, North Carolina, marching 83 yards in 7 plays for 7 points to start the Bill Belichick era.
Surely they won.
But very quickly, NFL teams no longer had to explain themselves for passing on Belichick. At one point, his heels went over 2 hours of real time without completing a pass.
Is that bad?
They gave up 21 points in the first 8 minutes of the third to lose complete control of this game, eventually falling 48-14.
It became personal with me.
Not good.
Does Jordan go into the locker room after, tell everyone to keep their heads up?
Which Jordan?
Michael.
Oh, no.
I don't think Jordan Hudson's addressing the team. Hey, guys.
Oh, I think Jordan Hudson's much more likely to talk to that team at halftime than Michael Jordan. I think MJ's going out around those losers.
I never realized the issue we had with the fact that there's now 2 Jordans that matter at North Carolina. I wrote a tweet and I was just going to put Jordan. And I was like, well, I think I have to, even though it's spelled differently, I have to write out Jordan Hudson is what I'm talking about here because now there's a second Jordan that matters there.
I mean, Michael's lawyers might ask her to change her first name at this point.
Well, you're using the term matters very liberally
well,
there.
One of them is Jordan and the other one's Jordan, so we got to just spell it correctly.
Did you guys see the photo that was at the North Carolina tailgate that was making the rounds? It's the reenaction of Bill and Jordan, his girlfriend, on the beach, and they're doing some kind of aerial, kind of airplane
She's
move.
doing an airplane like you do with your kids where he's holding her up in the air.
And it was Air Jordan, the new Air Jordan.
With an O.
Oof.
That's rough.
I'm telling you, man, Bill's legacy is on life support right now. You guys do not understand. We are teetering where Belichick's going to just become a huge punchline.
You're caught up in the moment. 20 years from now, first of all, Bill Belichick will be back in New England, just like Jimmy Johnson is now back in Dallas. In 20 years, no one's going to remember it. Yeah, it'll take a while.
And Jordan Hudson will be 29 years old.
Yeah. Bill won 4 more Super Bowls than Jimmy. They are erasing him in New England. Do you ever listen?
Oh, he'll be. This all changes with time. I mean, Favre's back in Green Bay. All these, just relax. Bill Belichick will be beloved. And there's still, trust me, once this crappy North Carolina experiment is over, people will start remembering the good times.
I think he's going to be open to people just feeling like he rode Tom Brady's coattails if this goes really bad. I mean, people were ready to jump on that bandwagon last night, and they've been jumping on it since Brady left and won a Super Bowl, and the Patriots descended into just complete crap.
Nobody even knows how Bill Walsh did at Stanford. No one even.
No. Yeah.
I mean,
but I don't think he had a falling out with the DeBartolo family where he was basically getting whitewashed out of the 49ers history. There's a personal aspect of this that is very different.
But history erases all falling outs. That's happened so many times where a guy leaves, it always goes bad at the end. And then 20 years later, they all come back.
Last thing on this, I know Bogusch has more. Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones had this big history of being college roommates with each other, and there was a lot of foundation there. Robert Kraft is in his 80s. When he passes away, and hopefully that's not soon, but when he does, his son Steven hates Belichick even more.
Right.
It's not.
They're not a whole other generation to deal with.
They're not patching anything up. I mean, Belichick just gave a quote to the Boston Globe that said the best part about college is I don't have to deal with an owner and the owner's son. That was a week ago.
Yeah, but that'll all change.
The owner and his meddling son.
You look at any great coach. Landry's exit from Dallas was awful, and Vince Lombardi got in a fight with the Packers and went to Washington. You go down the list, it always ends bad, and then they always bring them back. I'm telling you, in 10 years, everyone's just going to be so desperate for the good times in New England after.
Hey-o.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Would you admit it's possible we're all caught up in the moment and that Belichick in North Carolina is not really going to matter in the long-term legacy of this man? Because it's North Carolina football. They're going to be terrible in 10 years.
When Jordan Hudson turns 28 years old.
She'll finally be able to rent a car.
Well, I mean, was he going to invent the 2 tight end set or something in one game at North Carolina? What was he supposed to do here?
Not get blown out.
Oh, my God.
To TCU.
You guys are overestimating what Bill Belichick was going to be able to do here.
Possible.
No, I'm not. But I just thought last night was going to go slightly better than hit the exits in the third quarter.
Totally true. But do you have any idea how good TCU is?
It doesn't matter. I just thought if he's going to be, that was not anywhere close. They didn't lose because of talent last night. I mean, they lost because of talent, but they also lost because they didn't seem ready to play. Like
that was, I think, what was so striking was that they looked like the sloppy, undisciplined, poorly executed mess that the Patriots were when Belichick left. Like they looked like the Patriots, and I don't mean the Brady Patriots. I mean the Mac Jones Patriots. Making mistakes,
not good.
What
Turnovers.
if
a well-coached team?
What if their quarterback's terrible?
Possible. They're the one they picked, but they're the one that he picked.
He picked them.
Yeah, he picked Gio Lopez from South Alabama.
Well, he did get into it a little late, I guess.
You got to do it very late.
Yeah. What else you got, Bugs?
What else do I have? Oh, Venus Williams is still playing doubles at the U.S. Open. Her return to the singles draw ended in round 1, but now she and Leylah Fernandez have reached the quarterfinals after winning yesterday. Venus said it might be time for sister Serena to come to NYC and help.
If she came, it would be a dream for both of us, and we'd have her on the court coaching, and we'd force her to hit, even though she doesn't hit often. So it's probably best she doesn't come because we just probably bully her. Most likely.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I love bully. No, I think I kind of like that Serena has just she doesn't play anymore.
Yeah, right. She's just gone.
She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now she's doing Ozempic ads or something.
And taking heat for it.
Weight loss drugs, which I'm kind of surprised because I don't think anyone would ever look at her and say, oh, you're unhealthy.
No, but there was a time where people, because the internet is always mean, people were mean to her post
baby.
Yeah, and post playing body.
Yeah, well, there's a special place and where for people who comment on women's bodies after they have a baby, or anytime.
Where's that?
But here's the thing. I'm just I'm a little surprised that she's taken to retirement in this way because tennis is a lot like every other sport. People always come back.
Well, you could play doubles too. I mean,
yeah, like Venus.
Remember McEnroe came back and had a long senior career. And
Agassi?
Borg didn't come back. Does Agassi still play?
No.
No. You know who disappeared was Sampras.
Sampras disappeared.
Agassi kind of disappeared too. Did he play?
No, Agassi did make a huge comeback.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Agassi.
I'm talking about the, no. Yeah, but he was still winning titles. I'm talking about the older,
no.
I think the players go on tours and play these celebrity matches.
Well, that will always be there.
But I don't think Serena's going to do that. It's interesting because she's just, as the GOAT, I don't think she can put out a B product.
I feel like Serena more than, maybe she is related to Tiger in this way, but I feel like she's kind of had a love-hate relationship with tennis at times.
How could you not?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of players said, Agassi said he hated tennis too.
You'd know.
It's an easy sport to hate.
Oh, yeah, because Maggie was...
just like Serena.
The Serena tours.
Not even.
The tours of Binghamton.
No, plenty of girls way better than me.
Are you guys ever surprised that Venus and Serena have always gotten along this well?
Yeah, I can't stand my brother.
Yeah, does anybody like their siblings as much?
Grease.
Venus and Serena have gone through so much over the years, and I've never seen them say anything that wasn't 1,000% positive about the other one.
No, they're like they got each other's back.
Yeah, what family on earth is like that?
My brothers are kind of like that.
Yeah, you got to have loyalty.
We get along extremely well.
Oh, my God.
You don't think Peyton and Eli are like that?
No, I think they're like every other family where, the back seat of the station wagon was outright war all the time. I think most families, the siblings fight. It's what you're supposed to do.
And in particular, that touchdown. When Serena surpassed Venus.
Yes, and Venus was like, yay.
That's an easy way to create tension.
Peyton
was always better than Eli, so there was no power dynamic struggles. But all of a sudden, when Serena became even more legendary than Venus, that would have been an easy point to have beef.
Wait, Peyton and Eli, you think they get along? They get on TV. They haven't seen each other in 6 months. Hey, nice to see you. They are not close, not by any metric whatsoever.
Well, what I'm saying is, at least there, Peyton was always in control.
Yeah.
Venus dealing with Serena shooting past her. I have a lot of sympathy for as an older brother. That would have crushed me.
I think I want to know why. nobody had the more front row view for Serena than Venus.
Right.
She knew the whole time that baby sister was coming for her. And by the way, usually this works out that way in athletic families. It's the baby that's always the best athlete because they're the one who has to play up to the competition of the older
Is that
siblings.
right? I never thought about that. Give me some examples.
Last
Manny
Watt
Rodriguez
brother.
and Carlos Rodriguez.
What are you better at?
Life.
Oh, okay.
Watt family. Isn't TJ the littlest?
Yeah, but
JJ's
JJ's better.
Yeah, I guess you're.
No, but
Is JJ better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
JJ
I
won
think
like
he is, but
3
TJ's great.
defensive players of the year.
I don't know. How many does TJ won? 2?
2, or 1 or 2.
And he's still playing.
Yeah, okay, that's not a good one.
Little
yeah.
JJ Wise, that's what we used to call him.
We need to get a research.
He's the man.
No, but I think Maggie. I mean, there's
I
no
get
way
what
to
you're saying,
fully
yeah.
do it, but usually the youngest, because they're like you said, they're playing up with the older brother or sister. They're like thrown out
get
there
beat
more
up
often.
a
They're
lot.
around the gym or around the field from day one.
Who's
JJ?
Who's
JJ
older,
was the
Giannis or
crybaby.
Who's older, Giannis or Theonis?
Thanasis is older.
Thanasis is older. There you
You call him
go.
Theonis?
Theonis. I can't remember Thanasis' name.
I mean, they might as well all be just Giannis with one different letter.
Yeah.
They're basically all clinging to him anyway. Giannis, Mianis,
I totally
Bianis.
forgot Thanasis' first name altogether.
I mean, it's Travis
That's a
and Jason
former Nick,
Kelce.
man.
There's Travis and Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, Travis is the younger.
Travis, I think, is more athletic.
Travis is better. Yeah, Jason's probably a Hall of Famer, but Travis is a first ballot. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I think you're onto something. I was just curious of some examples.
The Boone brothers.
Who is older? I have no idea.
Aaron and Brett Boone.
Yeah, who's older?
That's a good question. Brett, I think.
So why did you nominate them? You didn't even know.
We've really thought this one
Aaron's
out.
definitely younger.
Was he better?
No.
No.
No, Brett.
Well,
He was
Brett
present. He was present
His brother
yesterday
might have
in
some help,
Chapel Hill,
though.
though.
Yeah, his son apparently coaches. Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yankees, his son apparently coaches at North Carolina, much to Manny's delight, so that there's not another Boone coming down the pipeline to manage his favorite baseball team.
You're a Boone family, and you're out there messing around with football. Get out of here, brother. Get on the baseball diamond. What are you doing?
Oh, great question. I know we got a break. Who is older, Jason or Devin McCourty?
Yep.
I was thinking about the twins. I thought about Tiki and
that
Rondé.
doesn't count.
Like
Is that
9
a
seconds.
minute?
Yeah.
Brooke and Robin Lopez, go.
Jason.
Well, Devin's going to the Hall of Fame, and Jason is a great personality.
Oh, well.
Wow.
And a very good player.
Wow.
Wow.
You wanna
That
break down
came
the
out way meaner
Let's
than
break
I
down
meant
the
it.
barbers next, right here on Maggie and Perloff.
Oh, Rondé all dead. That's an easy one.
All right, I'm going to
You are a
break
loser,
before I get
dude.
myself in any more trouble.
You are a loser, dude.
Next week, in a minute. I said next week. Coming up in just moments, Perloff and I come clean. All the bets we lost over the weekend. These were painful. MVP.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. All right, new segment. Now that football is in full swing, Pearl, it's called Come and Clean. This is where we have to announce the bets we won and lost over the weekend. How good or bad was it for you this weekend?
Oh, it was terrible. The one that really killed me was Baylor. I was like, Baylor's could be good this year. And they just never got it going against Auburn. And my guy, Sawyer Robertson, he looked fine, but Auburn ran all over them. And I lost that one early. That's the first one. Are we going to go one for one? Or?
Yeah, sure. That was one of your bad ones. I'll give you one of my bad ones, too. So I'm watching FSU, Alabama. Bama's trailing the entire game. Then all of a sudden, they cut the deficit down to 7. It was 24-17. 8 minutes left to go. I go on my DraftKings account. I'm like, I see Bama money line plus 900. I'm like, oh, isn't that a juicy meatball? Can't I just see all of a sudden Alabama using this momentum to turn it around? And on the next possession, Florida State scored. And I think it took like 5 plays. It was very, very fast. So that was a big loser to me.
I have a similar one, by the way.
Yeah, that was bad. What else you got?
I live bet Miami. I thought they were destroying Notre Dame. I'm like, this is going to be a blowout. So I got them at 6.5, which means they just had to win. They were up at the time by 7, and they were about to go up by 14. What happened to that? Like, did it feel like that game was about to get out of control for Miami? And then, no, it did not. I would have needed more than a field goal at the very end to get back on that one. So I lost a live money bet on Miami at -6.5.
So I had Miami just the money line before the game started. So that was a winner for me at +124, which I was excited about. But yeah, Notre Dame scored 17 points in the fourth quarter.
What was the final spread of that game?
I thought it was 3.
2.5, I believe, Notre Dame.
Oh, really? Okay. I wasn't sure if it closed at 3. Can I tell you one of the ones I'm most proud of? You and I both were losers on Bill Belichick in North Carolina. Yeah, I saw the Matt Patricia defense at Ohio State and was like, oh, Belichick's going to have this in the bag. College football's never seen a defense like this. Well, it turns out TCU didn't have much trouble. Two bets I'm proud of. One was the Texas-Ohio State. I had the first half under.
My God.
22.5 would have just been under even for the game. Could have been a winner. So I was happy about that. And then I told you guys last week that I faded Boise, and I feel bad for our fans in Boise, but that was a big, big winner for me.
Oh, my God. So. I lost on that one, too. I had a rough first week, but again, this is just fancy preseason. Like, this is not, it's all going to flip next week. I'm telling you, every narrative that you have right now is going to be gone in a month. And I'm going to come back myself.
What I still have on the board for this week, still have that Cowboys +7, the NFL opener against your Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, still a chance. Probably not, though.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Get back to college football in a moment. Bill Belichick, a dud in his debut. Arch Manning, ditto. Lots of headliners from college football. But Perloff, when we last were all together as a show on Friday, the biggest news in the world had just broken, basically, which is that Micah Parsons got traded to the Green Bay Packers. Now, a lot has happened since that trade Thursday afternoon. Number one, Micah showed up in Green Bay, and he will wear number 1.
Yep.
We also learned that the back issue that he had, that we all thought was a negotiating ploy just to sit out.
Yeah, excuse to hold in.
Turns out, well, that actually is a real issue. It's a L4, L5, something, and it looks like he's going to be getting, possibly get an epidural. Now, he was medically cleared, so the trade did go through, because I think people are wondering, well, don't you have to have a physical for a trade to go through? Yes, you do. He passed the physical, so this is nothing that's debilitating to the point where he's going to get shipped back to Dallas.
Yeah, but we had, I think it might have been Jay, a caller earlier said, think of this as a long-term deal for Micah Parsons. I don't see it that way at all. Like, Green Bay is a contender. They would not have made this trade if they didn't think Micah Parsons put him over the top this year. And I got to be honest, I'm already scared, Maggie.
Yeah, well, it's not what you want. Now, was he already going to be on some kind of pitch count already because he just hasn't played
definitely.
Practice? So he's got to get to know a whole new playbook, whole new teammates, the whole deal. I mean, the playbook, it's a little different. It's not like on the offensive side, but still, I think he was probably going to play a limited amount to begin with, but Green Bay's right out of the gate here with the Detroit Lions. So this is a really big game. I imagine they're going to want as much out of their new $47 million man as they can possibly get.
Well, and now it makes you think of the issue like, wow, I don't know if Jerry said this, but Micah Parsons is kind of small. I think he did say something like that at some point. Like, he's not built like Myles Garrett. So now you're like, ooh, is he going to be durable throughout the length? He's 26 now. The contract's about 26 to 30. Is he going to be hurt during this? Because he is on the smaller side for a pass rusher.
Yeah, but see, the thing about that is that they were about to give him like $41 million. So I know that they're saying now that he's small, but like the Cowboys were all set to pay him. And
they promised him.
Yeah, they were in on this. So I can't say now, they had all these issues with his back or with his size or what have you. Yeah, are we good to go with Diana? Okay. Well, Diana Orsini is going to be joining us in just a moment. We'll get into more about Micah Parsons with her. But this is the other thing that really caught my eye, Pearl. It wasn't long after Micah Parsons' trade became official that you started hearing some rumblings that maybe he wasn't the most popular guy in the locker room.
Yeah.
Now, this basically started with like Jane Slater and others who cover the Cowboys every single day. It was almost like Jerry Jones was still doing the press conference and things were starting to come out that said, hey, maybe this is addition by subtraction. We thought, gosh, is that possible? Well, more reporting by more NFL insiders, including Albert Breer, who got everybody's attention when he said, this is his report. Okay. Prescott, let's see. Martin Lamb. Okay, they're talking about, let me set this up properly. They're talking about the difference between some of the more recent hold-ins or one of the most recent contract negotiations with Zach Martin, with CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott. Here's Albert Breer. Martin, Lamb, and Prescott are and were very popular in the locker room. That's not the case with Parsons, who has rankled teammates in different ways, seen by some as egotistical and self-centered. His podcast has created issues, too, that go all the way up to quarterback Dak Prescott.
Yeah, and let's not forget his work as the managing editor of Bleacher Report Gridiron. I don't know what they said about Dak Prescott. Yeah, it's easy to believe that could happen because of how out there Micah Parsons is.
Yeah, but on the flip side, if he can help you win, don't you have to have a little bit of a thicker skin? We're talking about a podcast here. I mean, these are Cowboys... The Cowboys throughout their history who at times have really looked the other way on real character issues, not, oh, he's got a podcast. Okay, let's welcome in our pal Diana Rossini. She's an NFL insider. She's one of the absolute best. Scoop City is must listen every single week. Diana, thanks so much for the time. How was your holiday weekend?
Hi, good morning. Holiday, Maggie, you know holiday weekends don't exist in the NFL. August was one of the wildest months I can recall. And in fact, I was texting with Adam Schefter yesterday and I said, hey, because he's great recall and he's been doing it so long. I'm like, am I just a victim of my own situation where I have so much going on that this felt like a really heavy month, or was this actually a really busy season?
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, this was insanity. And he listed out essentially the last 7 days, every transaction, every trade. And we're not going to get a Micah Parsons trade, a player of that caliber, every single August. This was out of the ordinary, and obviously something that I can tell you not many people expected. And, just look, we've spent days talking about this, but this is one of these stories. Like, even over the weekend, there was a feeling around the league of, did that really happen? Did this really go down? Even let's just go back to the Thursday afternoon when everyone that does this, that's covering the team, knew something was starting to heat up. Like, this went from Jerry is not trading him. This is the typical Jerry way. We're all going to be watching Micah Parsons and Jerry hugging each other at the link on Thursday night, and it'll all just be fun fodder that we just, entertained us through the summer. And so while I was waiting to hear back from sources that were close to the situation, I was like, I need to just go nuts and hit up every GM, head coach, and agent that wants to talk right now and just get a feel for what they think. Not necessarily report their opinions, but just get an understanding of how do they see the situation. Maggie, I could not find one general manager or head coach who said they're going to trade him. This was Thursday, right? Now, look, there were teams that knew that Jerry was open to it and that had sped up over the last few days, right? Because it went from a week before that to, he's not even taking calls. There were some people with the Dallas Cowboys that were sharing with me that there were people in the front office trying to get Jerry to sit down with them to say, Jerry, this is what a trade package should look like. We need to talk about this. We have to have a conversation. What would you want? What are you looking for in return if we were to go down this path? And just getting that conversation to happen, I was told was challenging. And then they were able to do it, obviously. And the Khalil Mack number was essentially, at least that compensation was pretty much something that they wanted to work around, at least get close to it. So then once Jerry allowed the agent to get involved, David Mulugheta, to help with the contract and talk to teams, then this thing took off. And it was really quick on Thursday. It went from this ain't happening to boom, he's a Green Bay Packer.
Diana, one of the criticisms when Luka Doncic got traded in the NBA is that Dallas didn't talk to enough teams. First of all, did they really get a full spectrum of offers for Micah Parsons? And how surprised are you that Green Bay is the team they ended up doing a deal with?
Yeah, not surprised. And yes, the Dallas Cowboys spoke to more teams than just the Green Bay Packers, but they had the most serious conversations with the Packers. Look, the timing of this, to me, will be something we can look back on, and probably will, of they literally could have done this either earlier or later here during the trade deadline and probably could have received more. They appear to be happy with what they got in return. Obviously, 2 first-round picks, Kenny Clark. I mean, he's going to be 30 if he isn't already. They seem okay with this trade. But I can tell you others around the league are like looking at it thinking that they probably could have gotten more if they did this at a different time. This entire situation went from business to personal. And that's really when it went off the rails. I'm not sure if you guys were on vacation, and I say that to be funny. But this whole thing started, it was back on August 1st. And it went from Micah being upset to, I started to talk to some people close to Micah that were like, this is getting really bad. And I remember thinking, you're not going to ask for a trade. They're not going to you don't do that in Dallas. And I had somebody actually say, oh, no. He's got a draft in his Twitter right now. It's written. It's a note he's worked on for a few days that he's going to release on Thursday afternoon. And once I was able to nail that down, that existed and that he was going to do it, that's really what kicked it off. It was, he does not want to be there, and he does not want to be a Dallas Cowboy. And once he decided with his team, he was putting that note out, from what I gather now, and now that I've had more conversations, they were done. They wanted out. Even though they said they thought they'd go back, they knew they had to make that decision to say they didn't want to be a Dallas Cowboy and stick to it, because you really can't go back after that. And so now here we are with the best player in football that's not a quarterback, is now a Green Bay Packer.
Diana Orsini is joining us. I'm sorry. NFL Insider, amazing. The Athletic, Scoop City with Chase Daniel. Now James Palmer. Fantastic. You guys, the chemistry is off the charts. One other, Micah, I love it, if you could shed some light, Diana, on like how serious his back issue might be, but also just you're talking about how personal things got between Micah and Jerry Jones. How personal were things between Micah and other players in the locker room? Because it feels like it didn't take long for the reports to start trickling out that, hey, maybe Micah wasn't as popular as we thought. Dak Prescott did not appreciate the Micah Parsons podcast. I mean, I can't tell if that's a little petty and thin-skinned on Dak's part, or if Micah really was agitating people because he was so brutally honest in some of his NFL opinions.
Yeah, those stories are always hard in the moment to put out, because I can tell you what you've heard and what you've seen from the people that have been reporting this consistently, whether it's Jane Slater on the ground, Albert Breer, who does such a good job of sort of the aftermath. It's known. It was one of those things, like, we all knew about some of the relationships that Micah had sort of worn out in Dallas. But I kept going back to the fact, just through conversation, we're old. We've been doing this a long time. We've seen organizations deal with headaches before. When you are that good, who cares about your podcast? Like, teams figure it out. Teams that want to win are willing to manage it. And yes, he would rub people the wrong way and was very opinionated. And at times, I do believe some teammates thought that he was being a little self-centered, right? This is the NFL. We see it all the time. No one ever told me it got to a point where the Dallas Cowboys as an organization thought, we need to ship this guy out. This is a cancer. We are never going to win with him. It was never that extreme. The word he used was petty in terms of like the Dak stuff. Maybe was he being petty? I think there's just like a lot of pettiness in all of this. In terms of the back thing, look, anytime that you're going to get a needle that big, and Maggie, I think you know about how big that needle is, because we probably both received it at some point.
We did. They work, those epidurals. They work.
They do. They're no joke.
No.
So I don't think they're faking anything to make up for the fact that they were sitting out. But obviously they put that out there because there is some concern. And from what I gather as of yesterday afternoon, he's expected to go. The workload, I'm curious about that. That's what I haven't been able to nail down how much he's going to be able to do out there. But I expect him to suit up on Sunday.
Diana, just to take a left turn here and ask you to speculate a little bit. What do you think the reaction in the NFL and specifically New England was to Bill Belichick getting blown out in his first college football game?
Well, I started because I heard you guys talking about it early, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna ask me about this. So I asked a few people, and I reached out to some people in North Carolina too. And look, the one thing about Belichick that's very consistent all the time is he doesn't change. High, low, good, bad. He's just Bill today, the same Bill he was yesterday. But they know that they have a ton of work to do. But just even fun text messages that were going around, back to petty Mags. I do think there is an understanding that this is different. College is different. They're dealing with so many different challenges. I feel like the outside world right now is probably being harder on Bill than perhaps those in the NFL. At least they haven't shared yet. Just knowing the way Bill has been. And I think he's easy to root against at times because of the way he's behaved with some people in the media. And I've seen it all over Twitter. I'm actually shocked how far people are going with some of it. But at the same time, there is a lot of pettiness going on there too. I know you guys referenced even that interview he did recently about going, saying how different the college world is, to deal with the owner and the owner's son. I mean, the situation with New England, with Bill and the Patriots, I am in agreement with you. It feels like they just want to pretend he was never there. And I don't know why it got so bad. I don't know how it got so ugly when you've had so much success together. But in terms of what he's doing in North Carolina, it's one game. Unfortunately, I think if you're going to hang your hat on being the detailed preparation guy and your team looks like that, I think that's where that's the reason why people are being so harsh on this today. Now, that being said, TCU's not terrible, by the way. Like let's not underestimate them either. But I think this was probably a slap in the face to the world here of, hey, North Carolina's program was probably not that good. They just don't have the players. And we'll see if Bill can get the most out of them.
Diana, last one for me. Thanks for doing this. We know this is the busiest time. August has been insane. The Micah Parsons stuff was just the cherry on top of all of this. But I'm also curious what you were hearing about Arch Manning at all before. And then obviously his debut didn't go perfectly considering the hype. I think he had more commercials run than completions at the end of the first quarter. Listen, make your money. I'm not going to begrudge it. I'm not going to yuck their yums. But is there a thought that maybe Arch Manning, we're going to pump the brakes on the Arch hype?
I know. It reminded me, remember when Baker Mayfield, when he was in Cleveland, and it was all those commercials. It was like, stop, you're not good. At least he wasn't at the time, right? now look at him. So good for him. Look at him, right? He got his money and he's playing well. So Baker is winning in all this.
Yeah, you leave the Browns and good things happen.
I know. We could do a whole show on just the state of the Browns right now. They are one confusing team to me in terms of figuring out if they're even good. But back to the Arch Manning question. Look, I think it's one game. I don't get a sense that people around the league are out on Arch Manning. In fact, it's the other way around. And it always has been. They've done so much work on him, right? Teams have been drooling over Arch Manning for seasons. So I don't think one. Are we calling it a okay performance? Or how are we being hard? Are we being harsh here on the show? How are we calling his performance?
It was underwhelming.
Max, you're good. An underwhelming performance. I don't think that this is going to be the Arch Manning story of the year. I think we'll look back on this and this will just be a bloop out of the gate.
Okay.
Diana, by the way, you and Maggie have another thing in common now. You might not know. Your new co-host, James Palmer, like me, is an obnoxious Phillies and Eagles fan. Is that has it been tough to deal with yet? Because I know you guys have on the podcast been talking about the Eagles' chances of repeating. It must be tough.
Yeah. So no, James is awesome. So when I was at ESPN, one of my assignments was Sunday morning. I would do that pregame show, where they come out to you and you act like it's the biggest game of the year. James worked at the NFL Network, and for whatever reason, we always had the same assignments. So we would always sit on. We're always in Arrowhead because the Chiefs are always good. We'd always sit on this bench, and we would just talk football for 30 30 minutes in between live shots. And we used to say, like, if we just recorded this is better than anything we're about to do on TV. So when I met with Chase and a few people at Scoop City, I was like, I think we need a host here because I'm doing the inside stuff. Chase is such a good analyzer and quarterback guru. I need someone to hang with here, like to just keep this fun. And James is so fun. Look, the Philly thing, I get enough of it in my house. It's a high dose. So to now have to work with it, it makes my life a little challenging, but at least I understand it. I think sometimes you have to just give in to what you know. And I know the animal. So I can work with it. And by the way, he asked me I hate making picks. It just makes me uncomfortable because then I have to hear from people in the league, oh, you don't like us. Like it's just very, very immature. But they asked me yesterday for my Super Bowl pick and I went with the Eagles. So my host loves me. My husband loves me. This is how I'm starting the year. I just want love.
Diana's married to an Eagle fan. I mean, this is like that's commitment. You know?
Yeah, the season ticket holder and the person that just makes my life insane and during football season when it's my job to actually cover it is challenging because I want him to enjoy his team. But one of us gets paid to do this, the other, he thinks he's on the team. You're not.
Diana, you were really good last year about picking out one thing and I remember being like, man, I can't believe Diana is very adamant about this, and you end up being 100% right. Not I couldn't believe it, but I was like, good for you, which was Denver Broncos. You believed in them. I didn't see them as a playoff team last year. You believed. Is there another team this year that you're getting that same kind of vibe from? Maybe someone we're not talking about that could be that surprise playoff team like you nailed it with the Broncos last year?
Yeah, no, and the thing is, I'm back on the Broncos bandwagon, as the rest of the world is, right? And by the way, that's just like all the credit in the world to Sean Payton. If you guys just showed up today, he'd be like, guys, I got to tell you about my quarterback. He's awesome. And you're like, I think I do love Bo Nix. And you haven't even watched him throw a pass. Like, Sean just has this incredible way of just being positive, and he truly has built a phenomenal culture there. Where I understand why they're good. And by the way, their defense, they're monsters. They're so good. So as much as we talk about Bo Nix, the offense with Sean, the defense is going to be the star of the show in Denver. You know the team that I don't want to say I'm as hot on as the way I was about Bo Nix and Sean Payton together, but the team that I feel better about are the Titans. Right? Some of it because we've ignored them, but also just doing some digging on it and where Cam Ward is at. I love that they're off the radar. I think they're figuring it out. I like what Brian Callahan did, which to me was reflect. What did I not do right? Being a first-year head coach is hard. Being a first-year head coach after the coach he replaced is hard, right? He had a lot of challenges there. So I think for this team, I think they have a high ceiling. It's just going to be a matter of if they can figure it out early, because we see what happens every year. These teams come out, they're slow, and it's just hard to catch up in this league. So this year is my Titans.
Diana, you're the best. Thank you for doing this. You always make it look effortless. I don't know how you juggle as a working mom. I don't know how you do this with 2 kids. You always look amazing, sound amazing. Thank you for making time for us.
I appreciate that. You as well, guys. This season, you need any fun insider stuff, definitely hit me up. I would love to join. I love the show so much.
Well, thank you. And we are loyal listeners to Scoop City, so check that out if you haven't. Thank you, Diana Rossini, the absolute best. All right, we got a lot there. You are higher on the Titans, too. You love Cam Ward.
Cam Ward's my guy. Love him. I'm really interested in some of this backstory with Jerry and Micah. Talk about a new 30 for 30 or a new documentary. Hey, it feels like we got the next chapter in real time.
Amazing. We have more to unpack with Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys. On the flip side, what are the Green Bay Packers getting? You heard it from Diana. Full go on Thursday. We'll see about the pitch count, but Micah Parsons looks like he's going to be active on Thursday, so that's important. 888-710-4ISN. Don't move. We're back in a minute.
I think I do love Bo Nix.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, the Defensive Player of the Week is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. I feel like EJ picked this, right? I feel like he's going to go recency bias and go to the big TCU North Carolina game and go with the pick six, Bud Clark.
Interesting. I thought that EJ may be a homer a little bit and try to do something with the Miami Hurricanes.
I'm going to go Ohio State something for shutting down.
Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
But Caleb Downs didn't do much. They avoided him like the plague.
My guess will be UNC.
Also, maybe a little Harold Perkins back for LSU because the phenom had a bad year.
Man, EJ, you had a lot of choices. Who'd you go with?
It is Tuesday, and it is a great day to be the Miami Hurricanes.
I knew it.
2nd and 17. He's going down again. Akeem Messidor. Ruben Bain there as well. These terrific defensive ends have taken over on the last couple of plays, and time expires.
That is right. I'm going with Ruben Bain, who combined with Akeem Messidor on that final sack of C.J. Carr to complete the Miami Hurricanes victory over the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Ruben Bain, half sack, an interception, and NFL scouts absolutely drooling over the performance he had. He completely dominated the game, really took away Jeremiah Love in the running game especially. Yep. Bain was a monster, and he was one of the best defensive players I thought all weekend. Him making some game-changing, difference-making plays is the reason why he is the defensive player of the week.
I have a question for you.
Did he say Bain, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
That Bain?
That one.
Oh, gosh, Peter Schwartz doing Bain. Don't subject our audience to that. I have a question, though, for EJ. So I was watching Miami celebrate like crazy, right? Because obviously they should. Notre Dame was the higher-ranked team. They came in. They beat them fair and square. Beat them convincingly, even though Notre Dame came back in the game.
Yep.
I immediately looked to your next week's opponent.
Yeah.
Bethune?
Yep, Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah. And I was like, I think I'm taking the points. I don't know. Are you worried at all? Not they're going to lose the game, but that was felt a little Super Bowl-ish to Miami.
No. What is the spread?
It was 1 million.
I mean, no. I typically Miami does not have letdowns against like those FCS teams. I know some teams do.
Yeah.
Even when they've been bad, they always crush those teams.
By the way, I felt a little the same thing about Florida State too. I was like, all right, the teams where you really felt LSU, like where week one felt like just so massive.
I'm actually more concerned about South Florida the following week because South Florida, I think, actually is good. They hung with Miami for a half last year. Yeah. They hung with Alabama for 3 quarters last year, and they pummeled Boise State to start this game. I forgot the coach's name, but he is actually building a really good program, and they play a crazy tempo.
They have a big collective, too.
Yeah, and Daniels, their quarterback, is actually a guy who I think is starting to get some NFL looks, too. So that game, considering they just had this big win, Florida is the week following South Florida. That is the one that worries me a little bit. Bethune, I think that they'll cover and they'll be fine.
Just a little on Bethune. They just lost 42-9 to FIU. Florida International just whooped them 42-9.
Is Isaiah Thomas coaching that team? Was that at Pitbull Stadium?
Butch Davis.
Florida International, you always drive by it right on when you go to Miami. It looks gorgeous.
By the
and
way,
they whooped up good on Bethune-Cookman. So, Maggie, your cover on Bethune-Cookman?
Well, we have a new segment called Coming Clean where we talk about all the bets we lost over the weekend. Possible.
I got the Action Network app, and there is no spread right now. There is no over-under, and there's no money line available on the Action Network.
Yeah, see, somebody's thinking what I'm thinking.
Oh, definitely. That's why.
Taking it off the board because of Maggie.
By the way, we come clean on our bad bets. Do you see that the Texas line actually moved and flipped because of a couple huge bets that came in on Texas at the very end? Was $550,000 and then $1 million bet I saw.
Right. It came down to half a point, right?
I thought at one point it actually flipped.
Oh, did it go? Okay.
Because of all the money that came pouring in on Texas. Sucks to be that person.
That
whoever
game
that rich person was.
I know. It's so funny, but the whole narrative today about how Arch is terrible, Texas easily could have won that game. That 4th down stop, that was everything. And they were 1 for 5 on 4th down. Like that's why betting is impossible.
Well, that was also tough because those quarterback sneaks, especially the 6'4" quarterback like Arch Manning, you think you're getting into the end zone there. Speaking of big spreads, so Texas, their next opponent, obviously there's not going to be no letdown there because they lost to Ohio State. 36.5-point favorite hosting San Jose State.
That's not, I mean, we saw many, many bigger margins of victory this week. I guess San Jose State's not like Elon or somebody.
They did lose that first game. I forgot who they lost to. I don't think it was someone very good, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is a 36-point spread.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Anyway, let's think about that one a little bit. I'm curious here. Stan is in Westport, Connecticut calling in. Sorry, Bogusch. Give me 1 sec. Stan, you had a problem with the Notre Dame broadcast?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Halftime was ridiculous. I mean, they spent the entirety, just about of the halftime, chalkboarding and trying to tell us all why Arch Manning isn't horrible. And it was unreal. I mean, here's number 6 versus number 10, a storied rivalry, Miami and Notre Dame, and they hardly gave it a mention at halftime in a really competitive game that turned out to be a great game. And they have to go on there and tell us and dissect plays and his footwork and everything else. Look, at anybody that even casually watches football knows that was a disaster for Arch Manning.
Bad.
I mean, come on. It was unreal.
But said every broadcaster said the same things about the game. Like, it wasn't just Arch Manning. It was everybody.
Yeah, but why you spend the reason obviously is the Mannings, the good quarterback Mannings, the two of them have a show. So right, it's like a real thing on ESPN. But listen, I mean, right now in the pantheon of Mannings, obviously you got to rank Peyton, Eli, Arch Senior, and Arch grandson way down there below all three of them. It's bad.
Stan, power ranking the Mannings. Why did we think of that?
Where does Cooper land?
I was going to say.
Cooper's the man. He's on
in one
Fox.
of those.
He's a millionaire businessman. He's great.
And he was in that one of Arch's commercials.
Yeah.
Raising Cane's.
No, he gets at least it did last year. He gets a spot on Fox pregame show where he interviews a guy. It's hysterical.
We should start power ranking the Mannings. There was one point on the ESPN halftime show where they were talking about Arch, and it just was like Dan Orlovsky just like counting like all the defenders.
The math.
Like, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just like, you're gonna get to 11, Dan.
I want to put, and this is totally
12,
unfair,
there's an issue.
but I want to put you and everybody else in the media on the spot now. If you're going to jump the Arch bandwagon, you can't get back on. Is that totally unfair to do? Because I feel like everyone is like, I feel like I want to say you can't get back on if you're off now. That's totally unfair, right? Is that not fair?
Just coming from you, it's just laughable because you're Mr. Bandwagon.
Well, yeah, but I on Arch specifically, it feels like everyone's like pretty down. Like, I feel like people want to say he's not going to be the number 1 overall pick. I want to hear it.
Well, it just looked a lot worse than we thought. Like, there was a moment where the game was about to start. My husband looks at me and goes, is it possible Arch Manning sucks? I was like, impossible. It's impossible that he's going to suck. He's been coached up too much. He's got too much talent. And then he went out there and threw that first pass. And I was like, oh, no. Oh, no. No, it's not. You're not jumping off the bandwagon. It's just we also can call it like we see it, which is it looked a lot worse than I thought.
Do you think he'll be the number 1 overall pick?
This year or next year?
Any year.
Ever?
I guess.
I don't know. His last name's going to do a lot.
I mean, do you think he's going to be the first round pick, bro?
I think he'll be 1 or 2 with Lagway or him.
Okay. I just think it's what I learned from that is that I have no idea how good this guy is.
Yeah, we got a long way to go.
That's what I learned. I think there was an expectation that, he's clearly a top-end quarterback. I just don't see that. To me, he's going to have to develop into that. It doesn't mean he can't. He has all the resources and the physical tools to do that, but those fundamentals were just terrible. I mean, he and maybe the moment got to him too. There's that aspect. He could have just gotten out of his mind in terms of the moment. But I just feel like he's gonna. For me to make a determination about what his NFL future is, I feel like I can't even think about that. I got to think about what this season's gonna look like.
Do they cover the 36.5 is the really big question against San Jose State. How much do you believe in Arch? Let's get to Bogusch. Sorry.
How bad was it last night at Chapel? Belichick might have lost Kirk Herbstreit.
They're bad. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Fourth quarter starting here in Chapel Hill.
So the internet thought that was Herbie.
They're bad.
That is Herbie.
Getting caught on a hot mic as ESPN came back from break to start the fourth quarter saying they're bad. But Kirk tweeted postgame, he said, you're bad. And he was talking to his spotter who had said something naughty, funny, whatever, clever in his ear as the commercial break was ending.
Wow, way to throw someone else under the bus.
Mm-hmm. Now, maybe Herbie didn't say it, but we can. They are bad. The Tar Heels outgained 542 to 222. They scored in their first possession, then not again until the final half minute of the third quarter, and QB Gio Lopez left in the third with a back injury. TCU scoring 41 unanswered points, including a pick six and a scoop and score. they might have had a little extra motivation, according to their head coach, Sonny Dykes.
I think we all felt a little disrespected. There was a lot of conversation about this game, and none of it was about us.
A 48-14 throttling. Those are the most points anyone has scored on a Bill Belichick team ever. We've already given you the answer. The Bills put 47 on the Patriots in a playoff game in January 2022. Josh out on that one, Maggie. Remember, 21-25, 308, and 5 touchdowns. Eagles O-lineman.
Then don't ask what happened after that. They went to Arrowhead, and don't ask me how that game finished.
They definitely beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then the Super Bowl. Woohoo. Eagles O-lineman Landon Dickerson did not practice yesterday, creating a little doubt that he plays Thursday night. He was back on the field last week after knee surgery in early August.
Yeah, we got to check that spread. What was the...
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and I said Micah Parsons playing Thursday. I'm an idiot. He doesn't play for the Cowboys anymore. Yeah. He'll play Sunday against the Detroit Lions.
And Maggie, you're sitting on
plus 7. It's 8.5 now.
Yeah. Wait, which side did you get?
I took the points.
Oh.
That was the day that the spread came out. I'm a dummy. This all is working against me.
You know what? There's some high hopes for Dak in the offense.
What?
Chargers running back Najee Harris says he's in line to play Friday in Brazil against the Chiefs. He has clearance for full contact now after a fireworks accident earlier this summer that left him with an eye injury.
I have such a problem with this whole story. He said it was not serious.
Right.
The team reported it was not serious. The guy didn't, and he's playing on Friday without playing it. Really practicing that much,
and he's wearing sunglasses the whole summer. Like, we've never seen the eye. We don't know exactly what happened. We don't know the severity of the issue, but he's going to play. So who cares?
Wasn't the initial reporting just flat out a lie?
No, he said it was cosmetic. I think that's why he's wearing the glasses. I think it just looks bad, but his vision, he said, was never impaired.
And he missed all training camp because his vision wasn't impaired for cosmetic. That sounds hard to believe.
I don't know.
Over the weekend, the Panthers re-signed wideout Hunter Renfrow, whom they released on cutdown day, but apparently Hunter almost missed the offer.
I had like 10 missed phone calls from Dan, Dave, my agent, and they were all just ignored. My daughter's watching Bluey or something.
Yep, we know how that works. The kids had the phone. They were declining calls from GM Dan Morgan, head coach Dave Canales, and his agent. And eventually Hunter, though, saw his phone, picked up, and now he's back with those Panthers.
Stop calling. I'm trying to stream Bluey.
What's so funny about little kids and phones and technology and everything is like my kid is like a human wrecking ball at all times, except for when he's holding my phone and a notification comes in and he just very deftly, very gently swipes it away.
That looks very important. Mommy won't need that. Swipe up.
Yeah, is that my grandmother calling? Right to voicemail, but everything else in our house.
$10,000 deposit or deduction from my ATM?
Everything else is basically just like throwing yourself through a plate glass window, but the notifications, the phone, very gently swiped away.
Padres reliever Jason Adams suffered a season-ending ruptured quad tendon in last night's 4-3 loss to the Orioles. San Diego has now dropped 6 of 8. They fall 2.5 games behind the Dodgers in the NL West. At the U.S. Open last night, men's number 1, Jannik Sinner, steamrolled Alexander Bublik to reach the quarterfinals. Today's schedule has the first daughter of Bills Mafia, Jessica Pegula, playing her quarterfinal 11:30 Eastern this morning. Carlos Alcaraz follows. And then tonight, American Taylor Fritz tries to knock off Novak Djokovic.
Go Bills.
Back to you guys.
I thought Maggie was the first daughter of Bills Mafia. How
Can't
dare you?
be.
Yeah. It's all right. Jessica can have it. She's a little closer. Closer to the inner circle than I am.
Yeah, what's her connection?
Yeah. She did say some very nice things, though, about how she always feels so supported. Everywhere she goes in the world, Pearl, she said there's always a member of Bills Mafia there.
Go Bills.
Who's got a better life than her? Her family owns an NFL team, and she's an elite tennis player. That doesn't happen a lot.
Work hard.
Yeah, like most owners' kids are kind of slackers.
Screw ups.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like she's got the whole package.
Ask Bill Belichick about the Kraft kids.
Yeah, well, you can ask Bill about his own kids.
Yeah, I was going to say about you-know-who on the sidelines. Steve.
Rat tails and nepotism.
What a head of lettuce that guy has.
I didn't think it could be any worse than the
hell is that?
The mullet. And I actually am in favor of, I like a ponytail on a guy. Not a ponytail like a...
Wow. What a take. Go ahead. Keep going.
Like when Sam Hartman's wearing one, like that kind of ponytail.
You mean a man bun?
Yeah, man bun.
It's a lot different than a ponytail.
A lot different.
Sorry.
If Sam Hartman showed up in a ponytail, the allure would go away.
Not John Clayton, like when he pretended to have one.
Or the guy from The Sopranos, like the bodyguard. Do you like that ponytail that he had? What was his name?
That's the best one.
Yeah.
He was like from Italy, so he had like a thing going on.
But by the way, he's really from New Jersey, right? That actor.
If a man has a ponytail, there's like a 35% chance he has an arrest warrant.
No.
I know, but sometimes, EJ, if you like the bad guy, that kind of falls in line.
No, the ponytail guys, it's like the patchouli thing and like, incense smoke.
Guys, we're not marrying the ponytail guy, all right? Just,
You don't even, the guy's got crumbs in his beard, Maggie. I'm not even hooking up with him. The ponytail guy doesn't even bother going to the bar because no self-respecting woman would hook up with a guy with a ponytail. You mean a man bun?
Yeah, I get man bun, not ponytail.
Yeah, man buns are, you have to be super
Kinda
handsome
awesome.
to wear those.
Yeah, they're kind of awesome.
Yeah.
all right, well, okay. Belichick's kid's got a man bun back there.
Oh, is he?
He's the exception.
I said even that's not working for him. That's where I was going with this.
That's what we're calling it?
I think isn't that what it was? It's not it's a man bun. It was a mullet, now it's a man bun.
It's like the worst man bun I've ever seen, though.
It's not great.
No, the man bun's got to be high up on your head.
It was.
I don't know what's going
I
on
don't
with
think he
it.
has enough hair. I think that's the problem. You got to have a lot of hair to have a man bun.
Listen, look at how Belichick looks. Like the son's working with whatever he's got.
Bill did not look good on the walk into the game yesterday.
No, his hair got grayer.
Not even that. And
I think he looked like he was limping.
He was limping, and when I introduced Perloff to man boobs, the man boobs were in full effect last night.
Oh, speaking of man boobs.
It was like he had a man's ear on.
Oh, wow.
Did you guys see the thing that was circulated on the internet that alleged that Ryan Day has a nipple ring?
Alleged.
I don't think it's
All
alleged.
right.
We all saw them.
You didn't see that, Bogey?
I thought it was
did not.
AI.
Oh, yeah, you got to get on the internet, brother.
Wait,
That
and
was
what's the
AI
latest?
generated.
Is it real or not?
It can't be real.
I want to believe it's real.
Who has the guts in Columbus to ask him that question?
You think Ohio State head coach Ryan Day weirdly has a nipple ring?
Yeah. Kind of, yes.
Ryan Day nips is the first suggested
Bang,
Google search as I got Ryan Day NI nips came up right away.
It wasn't going to be nickel corner.
Enter.
Yeah.
He definitely has one. These football guys are grinders. Like, he's Ryan Day head coach now, but like 15 years ago, he probably was like assistant quarterback coach at Nowhere State. Like, those
EJ,
guys,
it's not a tattoo. You can just take it out.
Yeah, dude,
It's a
15 years with a
piercing.
nipple piercing is wild.
Yeah, dude, you got to
No, but
remove
once-
that.
No,
That's
but
a
once-
2-3 year experience.
once you got things going well, his life is getting on the up. You don't change anything.
Oh, sure.
I think it's probably a fake, but I think actually nothing. Ryan Day's turns out to be a little weird. All the reports are like he's a little eccentric off the field.
Like, he has you see his hair and beard. I mean, come on.
Well, it's a little
Let's
dark.
lay off on them just for men a little bit.
I know he's got to tone that down. Okay, 888-710-4ISN. Does Ryan Day really?
What is going on?
Does Ryan Day really have a nipple ring? Back after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Covered a lot of ground on today's show. We didn't get to everything we wanted to get to. But Nadal is our pal in Dallas. The Micah Parsons trade, Nadal, how's it going over in Big D?
Hey, Maggie, Perloff, EJ, Manny, how's everybody doing? It's been a hot minute.
We're doing great, bud.
Good. It's kind of split down the middle here in Dallas. There's people on Team Micah and people on Team Jerry. And as a business owner, and many business owners that listen to your show will see and get what Jerry's trying to do, and get the most on the return. But it's just a mess, man. I don't know. I need to call my water department and see what's in the water in Dallas. Like, what's going on? Like,
you guys don't like stars, it turns
Micah
out. Yeah.
It's just a big hot mess.
Nadal, thank you for that. Sorry we're up against it, but great to hear from you as well. Yeah, you're right. As a business owner, you want to be cutting costs. You want to make sure you have, good chemistry, all of that. I was a little surprised that the podcast, Micah's podcast, actually, it turns out was a real factor in creating disharmony to whatever extent it was in the Cowboys locker room. Albert Breer reporting that it went all the way up to Dak Prescott. And I think it must have been the time when Micah Parsons was doing his top quarterbacks in the league and mentioned Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, and Sam Darnold, and did not mention Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you sure that it really affected all this? Like, I mean, how do we know the degree? There's a new ESPN story on it. I feel like Dak Prescott seems such like a neutral guy, though. Like,
well, that's why it seemed a little out of character.
Right.
Yeah. Well, but you also remember Micah Parsons said about Mike McCarthy, right? Like, he hasn't been here long. Like, he kind of implied that, I forgot what the exact quote was, but it was like, he kind of implied that he didn't care as much as the players did.
It's like Zach Martin's done a lot for this organization. I play hard for him, like Mike McCarthy.
What has Mike McCarthy ever done? Right. And that got taken to mean that Mike McCarthy doesn't really have the buy-in from the players. So
yeah,
and Dak Prescott's got to answer for that stuff.
All that being said, maybe we're over dramatizing it. He's at the end of the day, Diana, and you've said it as well. If he was good enough, none of that would matter.
And the fact of the matter is, I think Jerry Jones, we know now, Jerry Jones thought he had a deal in place. So all of this is BS. They wanted to sign him back. Now, Diana's saying if they had just done this a couple months earlier, they could have gotten, at least the league believes, they could have gotten a lot more in return.
I mean, it would have been a little better to do it before the draft, too.
You think?
Although now they gear up possibly to replace Dak Prescott. Maybe it all works out in the end. The problem also with the Cowboys is the timeline. Jerry Jones is older. He's building this future team. I don't know. I'd be in win now mode.
Thank you, EJ Stewart. Thank you, Manny Rodriguez, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan. Thank you to Diana Rossini, who joined us. If you miss any part of the show, Maggie Perloff podcast sitting right there for you, and it's awesome. Also, we appreciate you, Weedos and coffee drinkers. See you tomorrow.